clearly awaken the world's only 6S level contract talent, but the academy still deemed me a useless waste. This is only because I can sign contracts with creatures of any level and freely manipulate their flesh and souls. Although this ability is powerful, it has one very obvious drawback. The contracted creature must voluntarily consume a contract gem while fully aware of the implications. Even a slight resistance from the soul renders it ineffective. But what creature would willingly hand over control of its life to someone else? Seeing my despair, my childhood friend Su Jingyao comforted me. Don't give up so early. The world is vast. Surely there are creatures willing to let you control them. I just smiled indifferently. Easy for you to say. Besides myself, who else would be willing? Myself. An idea struck me, and I swallowed the contract gem in one gulp. If I can perfectly control myself, wouldn't that be the legendary 100% control over one's body? After swallowing the gem, my body underwent slight changes, and streams of green gas visible only to me drifted into the air. Su Jingyao anxiously asked if I was alright, to which I shook my head smiling. Don't do this again. That was really scary. Seeing I was fine, she breathed a sigh of relief and turned to head back to the dormitory. She was joining the patrol team the next morning. Protecting our homeland had always been her dream, and me, deemed useless, was assigned a farmer's job by the school. So, it might be difficult to see each other again in the future. As she was leaving, she gave me a look, the reluctance hidden deep in her eyes. Parting was indeed hard. I really wanted to give her a hug. Just as the thought crossed my mind, my body moved on its own and hugged her tightly. Moments later, Su Jingyao shyly pushed me away and left to take care before running back to the dormitory. I stood there deep in thought. My body had unconsciously hugged her. Had I subconsciously commanded myself? I needed to confirm the extent of my control. After some testing, I finally concluded. I can now confidently say that I can make my body perform any action, as long as it does not exceed the limits of a normal human, such as flying or transforming into another species. Moreover, I can perform some movements impressively well even without prior practice, based solely on memory. So, theoretically, as long as my physical condition is up to standard, I can master any martial art. If I want to get stronger, all I need to do is improve my physical fitness. However, there's still one thing I need to verify. Time quickly advanced to the next day. Before sleeping, I had commanded myself to wake up at 4 a.m. to go running. Although my consciousness was still asleep, my body moved on its own. This state was somewhat akin to sleepwalking. By 6 o'clock when I came to, I was already sitting in the cafeteria. Seeing the scene before me, a smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Just as I had guessed, my body could indeed execute commands while my brain was unconscious. I wonder if anyone noticed me. Just as I was looking around, suddenly there was a commotion among many students nearby. Luo Shiyu is here. Luo Shiyu is the school beauty. Most terrifyingly, she captivates both genders, with admirers among not only the male students but also numerous female ones. As I turned towards the voice, my pupils dilated, and I froze on the spot. In my memory, Luo Shiyu was a slender and beautiful girl. What stood before me was a 2-meter-tall giant fox. It wore a girl's face on its forehead and brazenly stood among everyone. However, everyone else seemed oblivious, gazing at it adoringly. Good morning, Zhang Ping. The giant fox greeted me with a raspy voice as it passed by me. You don't look too well. Are you sick? I commanded myself to stay calm, nodding without changing my expression. Good morning, Luo Shiyu. I just had a nightmare last night and didn't sleep well. I have classes soon, so I need to go. With that, I got up and left the cafeteria as usual. Why are there mutated beasts in the school? Hasn't anyone noticed them? Am I seeing things? I need to report this to a teacher immediately. I quickly made my way to the staff room, only to see that one of the teachers was also a fox wearing human skin. Seeing this, I walked past the staff room without changing my expression, not seeking help inside. It seems the teachers might not be reliable either. The human skins on those two mutated beasts were very old, clearly indicating that they had been lurking in the school for more than just a day or two. But before swallowing the contract gem, I was unaware of Luo Shiyu and that unknown teacher being mutated beasts, just like most of my classmates. So, this change must stem from the contract gem I swallowed. Since the change originated from the gem I ate yesterday, what would happen if I ate another? I picked up another contract gem and swallowed it again. This time, it felt like a transcendence. Upon opening my eyes, the world seemed brighter and more vivid. As I looked, a pool of illusory blood appeared on the previously blank ground. A prompt voice sounded in my ears. Appraisal successful. Replaying the footage. The voice ended, and a horrifying scene emerged before my eyes. A giant fox wearing human skin was gnawing on a person's head. Could this be the awakening of an appraisal spell? I looked at my palm in confusion and indeed found. Identifying. Summon beast. Zhang Ping. Master. Zhang Ping. Species. Human. Growth value. 3 stars. Contract gem level 1. By consuming physical and mental energy, a contract gem is formed. Once the target voluntarily accepts the contract gem, their life, soul, and consciousness are dominated by the summoner. Absolute command. You have absolute dominance over summoned beasts, and they cannot defy your commands. Absolute obedience. You will absolutely obey the summoner's commands and loyally execute every order given by the summoner. Appraisal spell. You can see the specific values of the target and perform identification locations. The success rate of the identification depends on the power disparity between the parties. This talent came unexpectedly. Could it be related to the gem I consumed again? With this question, I returned to the classroom to analyze the current situation. I have now become my own summoner and summon beast, controlled only by the summoner. Myself, my body and mind are immune to external interference, so all illusions are ineffective against me. This allows me to see the true forms of the mutated beasts. These beasts are all natural order foxes, high-level creatures. I am currently only at level 1, no match for them. The natural order foxes use an extraordinary ability called cognitive distortion that makes even cannibalism appear as a normal conversation to others. After class at noon, I quickly ate lunch and left the school. I had already thought of an excuse to visit the patrol team to find Su Jingyao and to see how many mutated beasts were in the city. Along the way, I spotted many natural order foxes confidently walking on the streets, some even conversing convincingly with people. 2 hours later, I arrived at the headquarters of the patrol team and approached the information desk to ask, "Excuse me, I am looking for someone." A natural order fox behind the counter spoke in a raspy voice. "Who are you looking for?" I replied without changing my expression. "Su Jingyao. She should have just reported here today." The natural order fox nodded and then checked the records. I waited in the lobby. Shortly after, a natural order fox wearing Su Jingyao's face on its forehead approached. "Jiangping, why are you here?" she asked. I looked at her and smiled. "I was mainly worried you wouldn't adapt well to the patrol team. How do you feel?" The natural order fox pointed to its comrades behind it. "It's pretty good. They are all my teammates, and everyone takes good care of me. From now on, I need to strive to become stronger, to go out and fight mutated beasts, and to avenge my parents. By the way, we are still short of people. You want me to refer you to the patrol team?" Hearing this, I quickly waved my hands to decline. "It seems you've adapted well, so I won't bother you anymore." With that, I turned and left the place, feeling dejected. "Goodbye, Su Jingyao," I murmured. After stepping outside, I clenched my fists in anger. What a joke! Wasn't the patrol team said to be the strongest in Pearl City? How could they have been wiped out? Su Jingyao had just arrived today, and she was already harmed. It seems the natural order fox's infiltration isn't limited to the school, but the entire city. Everyone in Pearl City is like livestock they keep. Next, I entered a diagonal restaurant not far away, which happened to have a view of the patrol team headquarters entrance. An afternoon passed, and I left there only after gathering the information I needed. Through the appraisal spell, I discovered that the natural order foxes are categorized into beginner, intermediate, advanced, and top levels. Most natural order foxes are between intermediate and advanced levels, but even the patrol team, which has a large number of high-level awakened, cannot contend with them. The natural order fox that killed Luo Shiyu is very strong, and my intuition tells me that using the appraisal spell on it would reveal my location, so it's probably at the top level, or even a king-level entity. Other natural order foxes can defeat awakened above their level, surely because of its influence. Unlike ordinary mutated beasts, natural order foxes are highly intelligent and skilled in disguise. On the surface, they coexist harmoniously with humans, but that's just a facade. Their primary targets are often people with strong abilities, great potential, or high social status. The rest of the people are just their reserve food. Confronting a natural order fox head-on is akin to seeking death, but I can't just watch as innocent people are sent to their deaths. If I could become stronger. A week later, over the past few days, I have been consistently exercising and managed to level up. Besides daily workouts, I also tried to create gems and consume them, hoping to gain new abilities or talents like the previous times. But since I awakened the appraisal spell, the gems I produced were colorless and had no effect when consumed. However, this gem finally had some color again. I threw the gem into my mouth, chewed it a bit, and then swallowed it. This time, suddenly, there was complete silence, as if the whole world had lost its sound. After a while, I emerged from the silence, and the sounds of crickets and frogs started again. I immediately cast the appraisal spell on myself. Suddenly, a new talent ability appeared within me. Night Walker. Gain night vision. Presence significantly reduced at night. Movement speed greatly increased. Body weight reduced. Being in the shadows allows for complete invisibility. Also, the contract gem has leveled up. Could this be related to my own level? Does every level up awaken a new talent? Wouldn't that make me invincible? There's no time to waste. I should go exercise now and test the effects of my new talent. It's just past 4 in the morning, still dark, and it's very quiet around, with only me running on the track. After gaining the Night Walker ability, I've found that my vision is even better at night than during the day. A ring on the ground caught my attention. It is a dark silver ring, and I wonder who dropped it here. Although the material of the ring doesn't look particularly valuable, it is finely crafted, and the patterns on it are very intricate, not like a mere decoration. I tried to use the appraisal spell on it, but failed several times in succession. It took more than 10 attempts before I could identify the properties of the ring. Assassination ring. Once worn, all living beings will subconsciously ignore the wearer, although those above advanced awakened are immune. At the same time as the identification was successful, a replay of a previous scene natural order ally appeared before my eyes. I saw a man in white clothes, wearing a black mask, fighting with Luo Shiyu on the track, but the man was clearly no match for Luo Shiyu. Not only was he cut off 3 fingers, but he was also bisected at the waist. Luo Shiyu is an orphan, and given her character, she wouldn't make enemies. There's only one possibility then. Apart from me, there are others in Pearl City secretly fighting these monsters. As I was pondering, suddenly a raspy voice of a natural order fox came from afar. Who's there? The natural order fox jumped onto the track, crouched down, and carefully sniffed the surrounding scents. The track had a mix of scents, but it could distinguish the time these scents were left. However, after some searching, it subconsciously ignored a certain scent, thus finding nothing. No scent. How is that possible? I must quickly notify His Royal Highness. I used the effect of Night Walker to hide nearby, watching the natural order fox leave the track, and breathed a sigh of relief. Could this ring be a bait left by the natural order fox? Whether this ring is a bait or not, I've already picked it up. It would be more suspicious to put it back deliberately now, so I have to keep it. The sky is gradually brightening, and it's now 5:30 in the morning. I've also returned to my dorm. The assassination ring made me realize that power is not limited to one's own strength, and there are many magical equipment in Pearl City. These equipment are generally made by blacksmiths and have special abilities. I decided to go out tonight to investigate and see the prices of such equipment. At that moment, a voice suddenly entered my mind. Zhang Ping, it's dangerous. Hide. They're here. This voice was familiar. It was Su Jingyao's voice. A few minutes later, Luo Shiyu pushed open the door and leisurely walked into the dormitory. She made a round inside the room, then approached me, lowering her head to look me in the eye. In the quiet dormitory, only my steady breathing could be heard. Luo Shiyu's narrow fox eyes slightly narrowed, and she extended a paw towards my head, but stopped at the last moment, expressionless. If this waste were a fish that slipped through the net, he would definitely jump up and fight for his life. Moreover, I do not sense the ring's aura. After pondering, she slowly withdrew her claw. A natural order fox behind her asked confusedly, "Your Highness, why not kill him? This person jogs every morning, yet he did not go today, which is certainly suspicious." Luo Shiyu coldly shook her head. "It's not him. Do not waste food." The natural order fox behind her immediately realized it had spoken out of turn, quickly lowered its head and tail, showing submission. Half an hour later, the me who was in a deep sleep in the dorm suddenly opened my eyes. Only after confirming that the natural order fox had left did I relax. That was close. Scared me to death. I actually forgot my daily morning jogging habit, but fortunately, I had commanded my body to forcefully sleep, not showing any flaws. Speaking of which, I seem to have heard Su Jingyao's voice earlier. Was it just an illusion? Afterward, I went to the cafeteria as usual. Just as I got there, I heard many students discussing Black Death Star died right next to the school. Black Death Star was a notorious assassin in Pearl City, willing to kill anyone for the right price, even the city lord himself. It is said that the former city lord was wounded by Black Death Star and later died young due to the recurring old wounds. Could Black Death Star be the man in white who tried to assassinate Luo Shiyu last night? Even the top assassin was easily killed. Luo Shiyu's strength is indeed unfathomable. Was displaying the corpse publicly intended to warn those forces opposing the natural order foxes? They will surely heighten their guard now. I need to find some equipment for protection soon. After class, I'll visit the blacksmith shop. In the afternoon, after school, I stopped at a street corner, my gaze turning towards a nearby shop, discovering that its owner was a natural order fox. "Young man, come in and have a look." Hearing this, I waved my hands repeatedly, politely refusing it. The priority was to find a shop not controlled by them. Half an hour later, I arrived at a weapons shop called Iron Soul. After observing, I found that the shop had few customers, mostly adventurers. Looking at the shop's condition, the owner was human, not a natural order fox. Inside the shop, a man in his 30s was demonstrating a fine sword, swinging it. "Shop owner, this is top quality merchandise. If you're willing to buy, I'll give you the lowest price, though it pains me to do so." The shop owner, older and seemingly a bit senile, took a puff of his dry pipe and spoke slowly. "What did you say?" "My daughter is waiting for me to eat." Seeing his irrelevant answer, the young man became immediately infuriated. I then walked over and picked up his sword to appraise it. Ding! An ornate one-handed sword, ordinary quality, looks good but not practical, and it was broken before, poorly repaired. Upon seeing this, the young man furiously rushed forward to snatch it back, resulting in a snap as the sword broke in half. "Damn it, daring to ruin my good deal. Do you know who I am? I am the direct disciple of Master Ma from the Shingi Martial Arts Academy. Take this, five-fold lightning assault." After shouting, he pounced like a cheetah. However, just as he got close, he was met with a forceful backhand slap from me. Identification. Name, Lu Baogua. Growth potential, 1 star. Primordial Chi. Any move performed comes with strong special effects abilities, earth-shattering, spectacular visual effects. This energy spell can only be seen by the user himself. Overuse may cause the user to become lost in their own world, unable to extricate themselves. Is this guy here for comedy? I turned away, not bothering with him. Unexpectedly, he tried a sneak attack but was discovered and knocked down with one punch. Just then, a woman's voice came from outside. "How long was I out that the shop has become so lively? Are you leaving on your own, or shall I send you off?" Seeing the woman's fierce demeanor, Lu Baogua panicked and hurriedly scrambled away. I was just about to leave, but she stopped me. "Don't go, let's talk." I I asked her puzzled. Talk about what? Chokong slightly smiled and said, I'm a single woman, struggling every day to make a living and also taking care of my uncle who has become senile because his daughter went missing. I see you are in good health and seem to be a decent person. Why not stay and work as a blacksmith? You could take care of old Master Lu Typhoon and help manage the store. Room and board included, plus a salary. Learning blacksmith skills would indeed save me a lot of money on equipment in the future. Plus, this shop doesn't seem to be controlled by the natural order fox. With this thought, I agreed. I am going to be the king of blacksmiths. A few days later inside the blacksmith shop, Chokong nodded vigorously, instructing me to put the iron ingots and materials into the furnace while quickly stirring with her hand in the fire. It didn't look like weapon forging, but more like kneading dough. She explained, many of these materials need to be manually stirred evenly, so this method of forging is also called dough kneading forging technique. She went to get a mold for me to operate on my own, just instructing me to make sure the fire doesn't go out. I nodded and gradually added the materials. Unexpectedly, I added too much, and the intense flames suddenly exploded, causing a burning sensation in my stomach, making me gasp in cold air. Who knew that with this gasp, the flames in the furnace were sucked up into my nose like water flowing. This warm flame entered my heart through my throat. Having sucked away too much heat, the fire on the furnace went out immediately. I clutched my chest and hurriedly checked my attributes. Identification successful. Summon beast. Ping level 3 growth potential 4 stars. I also gained the ability of a fire devourer. I can transform flames consumed into fire elemental power stored within my body and release energy at any time until the stored fire energy is depleted. While I was checking, Chokong hurried in and asked, what happened in here? You didn't throw the scarlet serpent scale into the furnace. That stuff explodes. It's my fault, I forgot to tell you. I scratched my head awkwardly, offering to pay for the damages in the house. Chokong smiled and replied, no need, as long as you are alright. The materials merged so well, which requires extremely high temperatures to achieve. You really have a talent. The school really missed out on you. With your current performance, you would easily qualify for the top 3 organizations. I became curious and asked, everyone always refers to the patrol and investigation teams as the top 3 organizations. What's the third one called? Sister Chokong said she didn't know what the organization was called, and what it does is unknown. After saying this, she handed me the newly forged weapon. The weapon is called Beauty's Tear, made from cold iron, and can easily damage intermediate level mutated beasts, level 10 to 19. Judging by the market price of materials, a weapon made from cold iron is worth about 3 years of my salary. For intermediate level mutated beasts, this weapon could be worth tens of thousands. Is it something I, with a monthly salary of 3,000, can accept? Hearing this, Sister Chokong chuckled. Consider it a reward for your progress. I have other tasks to attend to, so I must leave now. Take good care of the old master. He's a bit senile, and make sure he doesn't open the store for business. Hearing this, I nodded gratefully. Although the blacksmith shop isn't often open and hasn't been targeted by the natural order fox, the noise just now might attract their attention. I should take advantage of the darkness and patrol the area using my night walker ability. After patrolling for a while, I discovered a mutated beast disguised as a little girl. It's the first time I've seen a natural order fox with such low growth potential. Species, mutated fox, same as me, level 3. With my equipped gear, I should be able to defeat it. With this in mind, I picked up my weapon and stealthily approached. But just then, a burst of cold air hit my back, followed by a chilling female voice by my ear. Are you about to attack a child? Don't move, or I will kill you. If you don't want to die, find me at the orphanage training grounds. After she spoke, the chill behind me slowly dissipated. It seems she is not allied with the natural order fox, otherwise I'd be dead by now. I grew up in an orphanage and often practiced Jade 8 Fist in a small park nearby, so I named it Orphanage Training Grounds. That woman knows me, otherwise how would she know my secret? Not only that, but she also knows my past. She has been watching me, so she stopped me just as I was about to make a move. She must have a reason for drawing me here. As I approached the park, I felt like someone was watching. It seems there are others in these woods. A rat about the size of an adult house cat slowly emerged from behind a tree. This was a mutated beast. Identification successful. Mutated beast, armored venomtail rat species, mutated rat level 5. The bone spike at the end of its tail contains potent poison. This poison rat is 2 levels higher than me, but it seems quite cautious. Slowly retreating should allow me to escape, but if I don't deal with it now, the children from the orphanage might encounter it when they come to play in the park tomorrow. It's just one mutated beast, and with the equipment Sister Chio gave me, I can win. After a brief analysis, I tightly gripped the dagger, opting to strike first. I instantly exerted force under my feet, and like a cheetah, I charged out into the night. The armored venomtail rat did not dodge either. It curled up into a ball and quickly counterattacked. The rat's fur is extremely tough, and even though my dagger is razor sharp, most of the force was absorbed, making it difficult to inflict any damage. After a standoff, the armored venomtail rat retreated and created some distance. Its crimson eyes glared at me, its tail spraying several globs of poison. Although I don't have much combat experience, I can command my summoned beast, Ping, to fight as if I were issuing commands in a game, dodging left and right. By observing, I discovered that its eyes are its weak spot. Only the eyes are not covered by the armor, but it curls up in defense, which is a bit tricky. I need to find a way to break its posture. I've got it. First, issue the command, Pearl Fist Rat Buster style. This move is powerful and imposing, focusing on using size advantage to overpower smaller enemies. First, attack the right side of the armored Venomtail rat, and while it's curled up, release the ignited fire elemental energy. Finally, as it uncurls its defense, strike directly at its weak spot, the eyes, with the dagger in a swift thrust. In the blink of an eye, the battle is over. After defeating this mutated beast, my level has also increased to 4. Indeed, actual combat is much faster for leveling up than training. Speaking of which, the appearance of this poison rat is somewhat strange. Besides the natural order fox, there shouldn't be other mutated beasts in the city. Just as I thought this, a black circle suddenly appeared under my feet. The moment I saw the black circle, I tried to jump away, but the next second I fell into it. The darkness inside the black circle was not ordinary night, but a kind of darkness where nothing can be seen. I could feel myself falling rapidly, but there was nothing I could do about it. It took about 30 seconds before I came to a stop. My body was covered in a blue liquid that clung to me like a gel suit, leaving only my head exposed. Before I could figure out what was going on, I saw a woman in white clothes and an ice mask standing in front of me, holding an ice sword. As soon as I saw her, she placed the sword against my neck. The chill from the sword blade quickly made me much more alert. A familiar voice came from the woman. Now you have 5 minutes to prove you're human. Prove I'm human? I am human. How should I prove it? Perhaps she too has noticed the mutated beasts lurking in the city, but can't differentiate them, so she's asking me to prove myself? Could that poison rat have been her test for me? Can you give a hint? Looking at the woman in front of me, I suddenly felt a bit of a headache. The woman remained silent, just waiting for my proof. Identify. I thought about it and simply decided to use the appraisal spell on the woman. Identification failed. The identification failed. After a series of failures, it finally succeeded 2 minutes later. Name: Lu Sisan. Species: human. Affiliation: Purge Squad. Potential: 5 stars. Level: 28. Talent: water elemental manipulation. To have level 28. No wonder it was so hard to identify. Her faction is Purge Squad? I've never heard of it. Could it be the third major organization besides the patrol and investigation teams? I didn't continue to think further. After all, the most important thing now is to prove that I am human, not a mutated beast. She refers to this small park as a training ground, so she must be from the orphanage like me. However, I don't recall anyone named Lu Sisan from the orphanage. If she came from there, she must have changed her name. I tentatively listed the names with the surname Lu. Are you Lu Turin, Lu Isho, Lu Shuesheng, Lu Xinyu, Lu Sisi? When I said the name Lu Sisi, she visibly flinched. It seems she is Lu Sisi. I remember she was 3 years older than me. When I entered Pearl Academy, she had already graduated and joined the investigation team. We practiced martial arts together for a few days as children. At that time, she taught me earth-shattering Sisi's invincible fist very seriously, and I actually believed it. First move, second move, ha. Third move, ha. Earth-shattering Sisi's invincible fist. To prove I am human, I recited the martial arts chant Lu Sisi taught me back then. The normally calm and composed Lu Sisan was suddenly extremely embarrassed. She looked at me and said, "Second question. According to investigations, your ability involves the contract gem, which was rated as useless because it didn't meet the activation conditions. Why has your behavior been so unusual recently?" I answered truthfully. 2 weeks ago, I swallowed a contract gem, became a summoned beast, and am only controlled by myself. I can see through their disguises. Based on my recent investigations, there are a large number of natural order foxes lurking in the city. I suspect a clan has invaded Pearl City. Their inherent racial ability is cognitive distortion. Lu Sisan skeptically asked whether what I was saying was true. I methodically continued to add, the proprietress of Wanchang Breakfast, the owner of Joe and Furniture, the 3 blacksmiths at Dragon Spear's Long Weapon Workshop. These are all lower-level natural order foxes. You could start by verifying this. Lu Sisan pondered for a moment, looked at me, then pressed the communicator and relayed my words to her teammate. A teammate named Jean Bo spoke up. There have never been any mutated beasts known as natural order foxes near Pearl City. However, the abilities cognitive distortion have appeared in the past. We've already sent people to capture the most recent 2. They should be back soon. As soon as the words were spoken, suddenly there came a loud noise. The breakfast shop owner who had been captured went into a frenzy. Jean Bo stepped forward and punched the woman directly in the chest. As the woman died, the disguised natural order fox revealed its true form. Meanwhile, in the academy, Luo Shiyu, who was resting, suddenly opened her eyes. A natural order fox asked, "What's wrong?" Luo Shiyu looked around and said, "Yujio is dead. Someone has killed Yujio." She pushed off with her legs and instantly leaped 100 meters into the air. Suddenly, she sensed that another natural order fox had been killed. Who could quickly kill and then immediately cover up their aura, escaping my lock-on? Who could it be? The extremely angered Luo Shiyu let out a roar, and a terrifying gust of wind spread out as a shockwave. The shockwave instantly dispersed in all directions. At that moment, inside a secret room, Lu Sisan received the results of her teammates' verification. She released me from my restraints and said, although the results have been verified, we cannot be sure that your discovery of the natural order fox wasn't a trap set by them. So, I'm sorry, you can only serve as a spy. Apart from providing the location of the natural order fox, we will not have more contact for now. I will be watching over you from the shadows. If you discover anything, you can contact me at night. Hearing this, I smiled. Protection and surveillance. I understand. Don't worry. I will cooperate well with you, as long as it helps solve the natural order fox issue. Everything is negotiable. Lu Sisan then threw me a jade token, telling me I could use it to contact her in case of danger. Time quickly moved to the next day. I had just walked out of the blacksmith shop when I saw a young girl in a martial arts uniform distributing flyers. Interested in learning boxing? Who wants to learn Beastmaster Fist? Curiously, I took a flyer. Basic boxing entry 500 pearl coins. Secrets of Beast King Fist 99.99 pearl coins. The charges were indeed not cheap, and I wasn't sure if the style would suit me. Absolutely worth it. Our Beast King Fist martial arts are quite famous in Pearl City. If you don't believe me, I can demonstrate it for you. The girl then quickly got into position and demonstrated the first 3 forms of the Beast King Fist: King Ape style, Giant Crocodile style, and Phoenix Talon style. I used my abilities on the side to start learning directly. The Beast King Fist, whether in terms of footwork or techniques, was much more formidable than the Bright Fist. Indeed, a fine set of martial arts. The Beast King Fist is versatile and formless. However, she clearly lacked proficiency, failing to fully demonstrate the power of the Beast King Fist. As I was helping the girl up, several burly men approached. Who allowed you people from the Beast King Fist dojo to distribute flyers here? Hearing this, the girl quickly apologized. Sorry, I didn't know it wasn't allowed here. What's so good about learning the Beast King Fist, a low-level martial art? I suggest you come to our Shingy Fist dojo instead, a blonde young man said as he walked over. Isn't this five-fold lightning Neil's guy? Hearing my mocking words, Lu Baogwa immediately became furious. I haven't settled the score with you for that incident at the blacksmith shop. Today is perfect. Xiongda, Xiong'er, I won't let you bully him. The girl quickly shielded me behind her. Taking advantage of this moment, I immediately activated the appraisal spell. Attribute panel. Name, Xiongda, Xiong'er. Species, human. Growth potential, 1 star. Level, 4. Talent, physical enhancement. Intelligence decreased by 70% in exchange for a certain degree of physical strength. Intelligence for physical enhancement? Is that even a talent? I then checked the girl's information. Name, Wang Jimin. Species, human. Growth potential, 7 stars. Abilities, diligence will. Any skill can be improved through persistent training. It seems she has great potential. Every day of persistence increases the growth rate of similar types of training by 10%. Somewhat unexpectedly, I realized that Wang Jimin is definitely a powerhouse for the later stages. However, her current strength and sticking up for me is just causing me trouble. This is my issue. Let me handle it myself. Wang Jimin worried that I would be at a disadvantage facing 3 people alone, but I chuckled and reassured her. Didn't you just demonstrate the Beast King Fist? This is a good chance to practice on them. The 2 burly men charged at me first, and I commanded my body to quickly enter combat mode. I had perfectly copied each move that Wang Jimin demonstrated earlier. After 3 moves, 3 disheveled figures were sprawled on the ground. Let's go. Take me to the Beast King Fist dojo to sign up. Hearing my voice, Wang Jimin came back to her senses. You are so amazing. You learned it just by watching once. Can you teach me any moves I don't understand in the future? With your help, I can definitely become stronger quickly. Hearing this, I smiled and nodded, thinking to myself, you have the potential of 7 stars. At the very least, you'll be a high-level awakener, and you might even become a top-level awakener. Maybe in the future, I'll be the one asking for your help. After signing up at the Beast King Martial School, I returned to the blacksmith shop. Soon it was time for class the next day, and a burly instructor, likely between 40 and 50 years old, pushed the door open and walked in. In fact, most awakener with physical enhancement are robust and muscular, each one a powerhouse. This instructor had sideburns and a pair of wolf-like eyes, and you could see a pair of canine teeth when he spoke. Everyone, stand at attention. Incorrect posture, penalty of 50 laps. While he spoke, I activated the appraisal spell. Attributes, species, affiliation, Beast King Fist Martial School, potential, 5 stars. Forms, currently mastered Raging Lion Warrior and Running Wolf talent. Mimics hunger, gradually changes physique through food from his attributes. It appears he could almost rival Lu Sisan. Ida looked around, then walked up to me. Are you the kid who helped teach those from the Shingi clowns a lesson yesterday? I nodded and answered, what if I am? Let's see what you're made of. Ida warned, then swung his fist at me. I couldn't afford to speak. I could only command my body to keep dodging. I heard you learn the King Ape style of the Beast King Fist just by watching a demonstration once. After testing me a few times, Ida withdrew his fist. I didn't believe it at first, but now I do. It's a pity the person who demonstrated it to you is only half trained. Some of the steps are way off. I'll correct it for you alone. Hearing this, I bowed in gratitude. Ida then looked at the others. Next, it's time to check if any of you have been slacking off. Line up and spar with me. Those who don't meet the standards will do 500 push-ups and run 10 kilometers with weights. beasts. At that moment, Wang Jiamin quietly pulled me aside. That instructor won't teach me more, so could you teach me privately after he corrects you? I nodded, indicating no problem. After class, come with me to the blacksmith shop, and I'll be your sparring partner. Days quickly passed. During these days, I found time to coach Wang Jiamin. I broke down the King Ape style into several small moves for her to practice one by one, and only then did she begin to show some effectiveness. The Beast King Fist indeed has its intricacies, and after a few days of practice, I felt a subtle sign of improvement in my level. Sister Cho Kong returned to the blacksmith shop after being away for a few days. She leaned against the counter, gave a wry smile. Damn, that was a close one. I don't know what's going on, but there were far fewer wild beasts and mutated beasts outside, so we had to venture deeper into the northern forests. We ended up running into a pack of wolves, and all of them were mutated beasts. I asked her if she was hurt, and she shook her head in response. Fortunately, we used earth-moving shovels to hide. The wolf pack couldn't find prey and went to attack the wild people nearby. I managed to get something good from the wolves while I was at it. This thing is rare. While speaking, she took out a green gemstone. I took the gemstone and used the appraisal spell on it, discovering it was a very rare biological crystal capable of storing wind elemental energy. By mental guidance, the wind energy inside the wind gem could be released to form attacks like wind blades or storms. Just as I got the gemstone, I felt a slight chill in my palm, and a faint breeze came from the wind gem. I closed my eyes, carefully sensing the wind, the birds in the trees, and the touch, hardness, and temperature of the gemstone. Suddenly, with a crack, voices of many men and women unexpectedly continued to enter my ears. I slightly widened my eyes and immediately used the appraisal spell on myself. Identification successful. Summon Beast. Zhang Ping. Level 4. Contract Gem Level 4. Extra effect. Triggered. Awaken Talent. Wind Whisperer. Randomly hear emotionally charged voices within 10 miles. Unable to control actively. Indeed, a new talent, just like the previous Fire Devourer situation. No time to think further. Two raspy voices suddenly reached my ears. You Lu. Besides Wang Jiamin, there's another man in the shop. That man seems to be the one who got us blamed in the academy dormitory. He looks tasty. Let's eat them for lunch today. I'll take the boy. You can have Wang Jiamin. Hearing this, my heart sank, and I immediately looked towards the door. It was Natural Order Foxes. Not good. We've been spotted. I then took out the jade token and sent a message to Lu Sisan, but after a long wait, there was no response from her side. These two are mid-level Natural Order Foxes, and even with Sister Chiu, we stand no chance. To avoid involving Sister Chiu and Uncle Lu, I decided to first take Wang Jiamin and leave this place. In the backyard of the blacksmith shop, Wang Jiamin was still practicing. I grabbed her, trying to escape through the back door, but it was already too late. The two mutated beasts were already blocking the doorway. Where are you planning to go? Hearing this familiar voice, Wang Jiamin turned around puzzled. Mom and Dad, what are you doing here? Zhang Ping, it's okay. They are my parents. I didn't speak while I blocked Wang Jiamin and quickly checked the information on the two Natural Order Foxes. The two Natural Order Foxes slowly approached, eyeing us like prey. Min, who is this with you? Why does he seem so afraid of us? He's a friend from the dojo. Just as she finished speaking, a black whirlpool suddenly rose from the ground. Seeing this, my face lit up with joy. Secret room space. Perfect. As our figures gradually sank into the whirlpool, the two Natural Order Foxes hastily swung their claws and lunged at us. In desperation, I held Wang Jiamin and fell quickly, but still got my back scratched by one of the Natural Order Fox's claws. After landing on the floor of the dark room, I quickly stood up, cautiously watching the two Natural Order Foxes. They reacted very quickly, pouncing on us the moment they landed, leaving no chance to dodge. This is the difference in levels. I could only barely fend them off with my dagger. As the other Natural Order Fox attacked Wang Jiamin, just as she was about to be torn apart by its claws, Lu Sisan finally arrived. Zhang Ping, get out of the way. After alerting me, she immediately unleashed her power. The next second, a blue ice blade traced a beautiful arc, like a necklace, and in the blink of an eye, it pierced through the chest of the Natural Order Fox. Lu Sisan swung her long sword, directly aiming at the necks of the two Natural Order Foxes. At this moment, the expressions on the foxes' faces froze, and they fell straight to the ground. Seeing her parents dead in front of her, Wang Jiamin completely broke down, muttering continuously, "Why?" I sighed deeply and explained, "They were not your parents, just Natural Order Foxes wearing your parents' skins. These two mutated beasts killed your parents and disguised themselves as them. After the human skin of the Natural Order Foxes was peeled off, their ugly true forms were revealed." Meanwhile, in the City Lord's mansion, a dense gathering of Natural Order Foxes assembled. A menacing Natural Order Fox sitting on a seat said in a deep voice, "This week, 9 of our kin have died. It seems humans have found a way to break our illusions." A Natural Order Fox with the skin of a charming woman on its forehead spoke up, "Your Highness, why don't we just kill all the humans and take over the city?" This suggestion was countered by another Natural Order Fox wearing the skin of a fat man. "Then what will we eat afterward? Grass?" The Natural Order Foxes joined the discussion, which eventually turned into a quarrel, and an angry atmosphere enveloped the entire City Lord's mansion. Luo Shiyu slightly narrowed her eyes, showing showing a fierce expression. Silence. Killing all humans is not realistic and would waste food. The priority is to lure out those hiding in the shadows and eliminate them one by one. Does the deputy city lord have any strategies? Hearing this, the only deputy mayor in the city lord's mansion spoke up. The human deputy mayor, Wang Ziming, Your Highness, perhaps we could bring in other races to first muddy the waters of Pearl City and then focus on clearing out some of the stronger humans. Among the three major organizations, besides the patrol team and the investigation team, there is one team that only the city lord knows about. Originally, you severely injured the city lord, and he fled with injuries, whereabouts unknown. I suspect he is hiding within that organization. I am certain he would not leave the city and is definitely waiting for us to slip up. The seductive-looking natural order fox chimed in. Your Highness, bringing in other races is a good idea, and it's also a chance to change things up. Luo Shiyu nodded in agreement with this plan. However, the current king is still asleep. Although you have helped our race, if you dare make any slight move, I will kill you just the same. Make sure you understand your place. Wang Ziming. Hearing this, Wang Ziming immediately knelt to express his loyalty, but his eyes emitted a cold light, and the corners of his mouth gradually turned upwards. I have devoted my life to Pearl City. Unfortunately, the city lord is incompetent, and Pearl City has failed to develop. I only hope that Pearl City can be taken over by a stronger leader. In the meantime, after seeing the human skin of the natural order foxes, Wang Jiaming couldn't believe it and was completely stunned, tears uncontrollably falling from her eyes. Mom and Dad, I'm sorry. If only I had realized sooner. She choked out. But even if I had realized, what could I have done? In the end, it's because I'm too weak. I'm someone who can't even learn the simplest boxing techniques properly. Why did this have to happen to my parents? Why wasn't it me who died? I couldn't bear it and stepped forward to embrace her, comforting her. Listen, this is not your fault. Like you, I also had someone very important to me killed by the natural order foxes. I always think, if I had stopped her from going to the patrol team that day, maybe the tragedy wouldn't have happened. But I know very well that even if I could go back, the outcome wouldn't change. Joining the patrol team was her dream. No one can stop nor change what's meant to happen. It's not your fault your family encountered tragedy, but you can change the future. You can become stronger to protect other important people. I believe your parents' spirits in heaven would also be happy for you. As for the monsters in the city, trust me, I will completely eradicate them. Just as I was saying this, I suddenly felt a surge in my chest and a mouthful of blood spurted out, and I fainted, having forced my body to keep going. Now that I relaxed, I suddenly felt drained. Later on, I had just woken up from a coma. I heard most of the meeting's content through the wind speaker, and natural order foxes understood what was going on, so I relayed the dialogue to Lu Sisan. Lu Sisan then reported the content to the organization. The deputy mayor has already betrayed humanity. As for the king they mentioned, who can strengthen the clan's illusions and make them undetectable even to top awakened, it must indeed be the king among the natural order foxes, since their king is still asleep. Now is our best chance to counterattack. Ping, we need your cooperation to identify the natural order fox. The Purge squad made a series of arrangements through the meeting. The first step was to launch the Celestial Curtain to partition Pearl City. The Celestial Curtain is a combination technique initiated by the barrier teams Manny, Chen Luowei, and Su Jie. Manny's ability is Black Curtain, with advanced abilities Black Channel and Black Chamber. The secret rooms where Lu Sisan and I have met several times were provided by her. Chen Luowei's ability is Light and Shadow Distortion, with the advanced ability Dynamic Illusion, which can change the colors of light and shadows. She usually acts simultaneously with Manny, maintaining the safety of the cleaning team's base and occasionally providing invisibility capabilities for Lu Sisan. Su Jie's ability is Solar Charging, with the advanced ability Energy Sharing. She serves as the power bank for Manny and Chen Luowei, allowing them to sustain their abilities for long durations, entirely dependent on the vast energy provided by Su Jie. Otherwise, the two couldn't last. Late at night, while most people were still sleeping, unbeknownst to them, an invisible black curtain was slowly descending over Pearl City, enveloping the entire city in an instant. The Celestial Curtain can pull creatures below the level of the king into a dark chamber space and can also modify the scenery inside the space to confuse opponents. The next day, Pearl City operated as usual, but no one realized that a change had quietly taken place. Disguised as humans, natural order foxes Yue and Yuer arrived on the streets, tasked by the city lord's mansion to capture a few humans and brought them back. While walking, Yuer suddenly stopped. It faintly sensed something was off, but it was already too late. The Celestial Curtain had already trapped the two natural order foxes. Jin Bo suddenly appeared, swinging his fist in a surprise attack. Unfortunately, his punch missed as the two natural order foxes were incredibly fast, quickly pulling away and dodging to a distance. The natural order foxes glared fiercely at Jin Bo. You dare to attack us so brazenly in Pearl City. Aren't you afraid we'll call for reinforcements? Hearing this, Jin Bo scoffed. Why don't you try calling? His ability is called Golden Blood. At the moment of activation, his body shows many golden lightning patterns, and his hair stands up, shimmering with golden light. According to intelligence, these two natural order foxes are level 25, which shouldn't be a problem for him him at level 32. Unexpectedly, as soon as the fight began, Jinbo suffered a setback. Even though he blocked the opponent's offensive, he was mysteriously injured. Seeing this, Yui mockingly taunted, "Is that all you've got? I really don't know how those of your kind killed the others." However, barely a second into its gloating, Jinbo's fist instantly smashed into its head. Yui was blasted dozens of meters away, crashing heavily into the concrete. Seeing this, Yui swung its claws in a fierce attack, but Jinbo ignored it. Jinbo didn't pay attention to Yui's attack. Instead, he instinctively grabbed the natural order fox's arm. "So, I see. Although I can't see you, I've figured out your size. This ability is indeed strong in an ambush, but it's not much for a frontal confrontation." The arm of Yui that was grabbed broke, and it let out a painful scream. "Help me." Seeing this, Yui leapt from a distance, but before it got close, it was hit by Yui, thrown by Jinbo. Jinbo used the ground to launch himself into the air, lifting his left leg to build momentum, and then kicking both natural order foxes towards the ground like kicking a ball. "Why can't we sense our kin? We fell into a trap." The two natural order foxes let out a roar of despair. Jinbo then began to furiously punch, as if to vent all the pent-up anger of the time on them. Soon, both natural order foxes had their arms broken, their organs shattered, gruesomely beaten all over. Lu Sisan and I quietly watched this scene from afar. Jinbo, as the leader of the combat group, truly has impressive strength. Moments later, Lu Sisan received orders from her superiors. Lu Sisan, increase the celestial curtain. Abnormal beasts outside the city are gathering and rioting for unknown reasons. If they enter the city now, it might burden the celestial curtain. Go outside the city to investigate. Take Zhang Ping with you. It's a good opportunity to train his combat skills. The natural order foxes he identified have been recorded. I will arrange for the combat group to handle them. Hearing this, I suddenly thought of Sister Chio's encounter with the storm gathering and wondered if it could be related. After ending the call, Lu Sisan called out and left the place. I followed behind her, curious. "Was that person a big shot?" I asked. Lu Sisan nodded and replied, "He's our leader. After the mission, you'll meet him." I followed Lu Sisan outside the city, and though it was my first time leaving the city, it didn't feel as dangerous as I had imagined. "Sister Sisan, what are these plants?" As I was curiously examining the fiery red plants by the roadside, Lu Sisan suddenly grabbed me forcefully. "Don't go there. It's dangerous. These plants are called hydrochloric acid grass. Their fruits contain hydrochloric acid and are highly corrosive. When the fruits ripen, they explode, propelling into the sky and bursting open, scattering seeds around. Be very careful. Additionally, there is a type of mutated beast that feeds on hydrochloric acid grass," Lu Sisan said, pointing to a white rabbit eating the grass nearby. "That's your first opponent. I need to investigate the situation with the beast riot. Don't wander off too far from here." I looked at the rabbit. Species: mutated rabbit. Level 9. Low-level mutated beast abilities. Aqua Shot. Can shoot highly corrosive liquid from hidden sweat glands behind its ears. This rabbit looks harmless. This rabbit's level is even higher than the venom-tailed rat. I'll take the initiative while it's not paying attention. After thinking it over, I suddenly threw my dagger at the back of the rabbit, which was foraging. However, as if it had eyes on its back, the rabbit dodged with a leap just as the dagger was about to hit. Seeing this, I ignited flames in my hands, approached swiftly, and punched directly at it. The bullet rabbit quickly curled up into a ball, spraying a large amount of green liquid from its ears. This liquid was like buckshot, and the shooting speed was extremely fast, all hitting me. The rabbit hopped around the hydrochloric acid grass, triggering a lot of the plants. Seeing this, I quickly dodged while analyzing the situation. This rabbit is immune to the venom of hydrochloric acid grass and very cunning. It first sprays acid to keep me at bay, and then deliberately lures me into an area with ripe fruits, making it quite tricky to deal with. Why didn't the acid corrode me? I clearly caught the rabbit's acid with my hand. Could it be because of the fire? At that moment, the rabbit launched another acid attack. I tentatively swept it with my left arm, and flames burst forth, instantly forming a wall of fire that blocked all the acid. Indeed, the acid was useless to fire, and was directly evaporated by the heat. Seeing that ranged attacks were ineffective against me, the rabbit immediately showed a fierce expression and suddenly sped up, pouncing on me for a close-range attack. I swung my dagger, continuously attacking and defending. However, I was still inadvertently scratched by the rabbit's claws, and its claw strike also had a corrosive effect. To avoid further corrosion, I had to release flames to cover my entire body, which also caused a rapid depletion of my flame reserves. I must end this battle quickly. I immediately launched a rapid attack on the rabbit, releasing the remaining flames while doing so, locking down its range of movement. Soon, the rabbit, unable to escape, was cornered. Facing my attack, it leapt into the air, but this was exactly what I wanted. In the air, let's see how you dodge. After retracting the flames around my body, I threw out a wall of fire at the rabbit. With a bang, the rabbit screamed as it fell back to the ground. Seeing it wasn't dead yet, I approached with my dagger and delivered a few more stabs. Killed the bullet rabbit, all attributes +2, worthy of a level 9 monster. Killing one actually added 2 points to my attributes. Unfortunately, my level did not increase, as the higher the level, the harder it is to level up. Therefore, it's common to increase attributes without leveling up after training and fighting. Just as I was rejoicing, a noise reached my ears. Turning my head, I saw, not knowing when, a dense crowd of bullet rabbits had appeared. Under the roar of a rabbit that was one size larger, the rest of the rabbits pounced as if commanded. "Cece, help me!" I started running, signaling to Lu Sisan while I ran. But I hadn't run far before I found myself surrounded. The rabbits collectively launched an acid attack, and since my flame reserves were depleted, I could only curl up, attempting to endure with my clothes. But the acid did not fall on me. All the acid was blocked by a wall of ice. This familiar elemental water. Indeed, it was Sister Cece. After Lu Sisan came to my side, she waved her arm, and the next second, wave-like torrents of water surged towards the rabbits. The rabbits had no chance to dodge, and most were swept into the current. With a snap of Lu Sisan's fingers, soon these currents froze, trapping them together. Seeing this scene, I was dumbfounded. So impressive. I used all my strength just to deal with one earlier. The remaining rabbits, instead of being scared, rushed forward one after the other. But strangely, they did not attack us. Instead, like being attracted, they all crashed into the ice wall where the rabbit leader was. Lu Sisan noticed this unusual scene and drew her sword, killing the remaining rabbits. She confidently released the ice wall and carefully searched inside the body of the rabbit leader. Indeed, she found a blue bead. This bead was entirely blue and emitted an indescribable fragrance. Lu Sisan explained, "This is a spirit-controlling pill, created by a certain organization to control mutated beasts. The Beastmasters Yu clan. Have they really appeared? It is said that the spirit-controlling pill emits a unique fragrance that only low to mid-level mutated beasts can detect. This scent lures the mutated beasts to consume it. Those that eat the spirit-controlling pill lose their rationality and are ultimately forced into domestication. However, how the Yu clan controls these mutated beasts is still unknown. The riot of the mutated beasts is likely related to the spirit-controlling pill. I will report this to headquarters, and further investigation is needed to confirm if it's the work of the Yu clan. Until we clear this up, you just stick with me outside the city to train." I nodded in response. "Okay." But unbeknownst to me, a person in black was quietly watching this scene from behind a large tree. Lu Sisan seemed to sense something and swung a sword chi towards that tree. But after the tree fell, nothing was found. No one? Was it just my imagination? A week quickly passed. Inside the city lord's mansion of Pearl City, a natural order fox that had eaten Luo Shiyu sat in the great hall, listening to the reports of its subordinates. "Your Highness, the natural order foxes living around Craftsman Street have all been assembled here." Luo Shiyu nodded and looked down. "I believe you all are aware, recently humans have found a way to break mental control, causing heavy casualties to our kind. Over the past week, I've noticed that our kin who were killed were mainly located on Craftsman Street. Those of you living near Craftsman Street are likely to be targeted next. I want you all to make some noise. Make the enemy think you've noticed something and are trying to escape, to provoke them into acting prematurely. I want to see who exactly is behind this." Meanwhile, outside the city, I was still relentlessly grinding rabbit monsters. After a week of grinding rabbits, I reached level 6, and I had completely mastered their attack patterns and weaknesses. First, I neutralized their ranged attacks without harm, provoking them. Once provoked, they would cover their bodies in acid for close combat. The acid can be ignited, but the downside is that it burns very briefly and isn't fatal. But if used with cinnabar serpent scales as fuel, the flame could continue to burn indefinitely. After using up all the serpent scales I had collected during this period, I checked my attribute panel and, indeed, found that my level had increased by 1. Having defeated several higher-level enemies, all attributes had additionally increased by 1 point, and my contract gem had also advanced to level 5. I initially thought the level of the contract gem was synchronized with my own, but I later discovered this wasn't the case. Upgrading the contract gem is more difficult. I concentrated the gem and prepared to consume it, eagerly anticipating what ability I would awaken this time, hoping it would be combat-related. Just then, a massive amount of black smoke suddenly erupted from a dead rabbit. The next second, the rabbit shakily stood up. "Isn't this guy dead yet?" Seeing this, I took out my dagger, ready to continue the fight. The rabbit lunged at me, and I struck it with my dagger in one swing. Unexpectedly, the rabbit managed to evade by turning into black smoke. What is this? Could it be the spirit of the rabbit? Never mind, spirit or ghost, either way, go to die. I chased after it and slashed again. This time, the rabbit didn't have time to turn into black smoke and was hit, its body falling rigidly to the ground. Could this bullet rabbit have been controlled by a spirit-controlling pill? Curious, I dissected the rabbit's stomach and indeed found something, but it wasn't a spirit-controlling pill. I immediately started to analyze it. After more than 10 attempts, I finally succeeded in identifying it. Ding! Nether Mist essence. Quality: unknown. Description: the power essence stored in the testicles of a Nether Mist black goat. Consuming it can lead to unexpected results. As the attributes of the Nether Mist essence were displayed, an image playback related to this item also appeared before my eyes. A massive black goat, emanating black mist all over, transformed the mist into huge goat horns, constantly attacking the surrounding mutated beasts. Suddenly, a giant mutated wild boar charged at it. The black goat instantly dispersed into mist, then recongregated above the wild boar, crashing down with with dense goat horns. The back of the wild boar was pierced by several large holes, but the wild boar had an extremely strong vitality. While being attacked, it bit down, and the black goat immediately let out a painful scream. Immediately after, a large amount of black mist drilled out of its body, all pouring into the wild boar's mouth. Before the wild boar could spit out what was in its mouth, it was directly burst by the black mist, dying together with the black goat. The image playback ended. I stared at the black bead and fell into deep thought. To eat or not to eat? I had an intuition that if I ate this bead, there was a high likelihood I would gain the power of the Nether Mist. However, the problem was, knowing that this thing came from the testicles of a black goat, I felt somewhat uneasy. Memories of the past surfaced in my mind, being inspected by the natural order fox in school, when my life wasn't in my own hands. Jing Yao, in the despair faced in the dark chamber at the patrol team headquarters when attacked by a natural order fox, having to force a smile and play along despite feeling as weak as an ant. Do I, as insignificant as I am, have the luxury to be picky? After a moment of self-mockery, I decided. Without hesitation, I swallowed the black bead. The next second, a sharp pain erupted within my body, and I collapsed to the ground, curling up in agony. Faintly, it felt as though something rushed from my stomach to my brain, followed by what seemed like a piercing scream. The scream was like an auditory hallucination, vanishing instantly. I clenched my teeth, trying my best to stay silent. The image of Su Jingyao being killed flashed in my mind again. Ping, promise me, no matter what setbacks you face, you must survive. Su Jingyao, don't worry, I absolutely won't die before I've killed all these foxes. About 5 minutes later, the pain gradually subsided. I lay there, drained, too exhausted to move. Black mist seeped out of my body, covering it like a thin veil. It was a while before I used the appraisal spell on myself. Analysis successful. Summon beast. Ping, level 7. Growth potential 7 stars. Abilities. Body of Nether Mist. Basic. Description. Can convert absorbed fear from living beings into manipulable Nether Mist. Each point of Nether Mist consumed can generate mist with 10% of the current level's attack power and 10% physical manifestation, up to 1000%. I was very satisfied with this new talent added. It was combat-oriented and well-rounded in both offense and defense, though I was unsure about its power, which seemed to depend on the amount of Nether Mist consumed. I lay there silently smiling with my eyes closed, but as I smiled, tears began to flow down my cheeks. Whenever I thought of how Su Jingyao was killed, my teeth itched with hatred, but soon I will have the strength to avenge her. Just then, a few villagers noticed me. Young man, are you alright? Upon hearing this, I slowly stood up and told them I was fine. It might have been because the black mist enveloping me looked somewhat frightening. There's a ghost, the villagers shouted in terror and fled without looking back. Nether Mist storage 23/100. Does this mean I can absorb others' fear and convert it into Nether Mist? This Nether Mist doesn't feel like actual mist, nor does it seem like energy. However, the form of the Nether Mist can change according to my will. I just don't know about its power yet. Let's try the minimum damage. I immediately controlled a wisp of Nether Mist to form a dagger. Then, with a thought, I slashed the dagger towards a nearby tree. Instantly, the tree was cleanly cut in half, revealing a smooth cross-section. Only 1 point of Nether Mist storage, and it has such strong power. Interesting, really interesting. This Nether Mist can not only cut, but also block attacks. If used properly, the body of Nether Mist will be my strongest trump card against high-level mutated beasts. While I was marveling at the powerful capabilities of the Nether Mist, Lu Sisan suddenly ran over from a distance. Ping, did you encounter a Nether Mist mutated beast? Where is it? From Lu Sisan's cautious demeanor, I sensed some issues and told her about my earlier experiences. After listening to my story, Lu Sisan was silent for a while. Then she looked up at me and shouted angrily, "You ate the Nether Mist essence? Do you think your life is too long? Eating things of unknown origin. Do you know you could have died?" Lu Sisan scolded. I gave a wry smile and replied, "It shouldn't be that bad. I've checked with the appraisal spell. It's okay. If there really is a problem, I can command myself to spit it out." Hearing this, Lu Sisan said sternly, "What makes you think you can spit it out? Nether Mist mutated beasts are creatures of unknown origin. They don't have a specific form and generally reside inside some organisms, akin to parasites. That black goat and the bullet rabbit were probably puppets of a Nether Mist mutated beast, but after the puppet hosts die, they will burrow into one of the host's organs, waiting for the next host. The point is, Nether Mist mutated beasts can control the objects they infect." Hearing her words, I was stunned, suddenly remembering the faint scream I heard during the intense abdominal pain. Was that the Nether Mist mutated beast trying to infest me? Since I'm okay, does that mean the infestation failed? Lu Sisan shook her head and answered, "I don't know. You are very special. Perhaps there's a monster residing within you that eliminated the Nether Mist mutated beast. Or perhaps it's because you can exert absolute control over yourself, so even if you are parasitized, it doesn't affect you. In any case, if you undergo some sort of mutation, I can only resort to killing you." Just as she finished speaking, a spider suddenly dropped between the two. Lu Sisan immediately jumped in fright, hastily swinging her sword in panic. "A spider! Such a big spider! Get it away!" she yelled as she plunged into my arms. Seeing her panicked state, I felt a warmth in my heart. "Still scared of bugs? Just like when we were kids. Sisan, look what I caught. As a child, I liked to catch insects for fun, and she was most afraid of them. My friend ran away because you scared it. Seeing my disappointed face, she looked puzzled. Silly boy, there are so many mates in the orphanage who can be your friends. Why do you catch bugs to be your friends? I sighed, but they will leave the orphanage one day. What should I do then? Hearing this, she comforted me with a smile. Sisan promises you, no matter what happens in the future, I will always be your good friend. Really? No lying. Let's pinky swear. At this moment, Lu Sisan, holding me, came to her senses, hurriedly pushed me away, and then earnestly instructed, Zhang Ping, in the wilderness, any item of unknown origin carries unknown risks. There's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Remember, never let your guard down. In the future, when faced with similar items, you must remember this well. Hearing her words, I smiled and nodded. I thought after joining the Purge squad, Sisan had become aloof and distanced herself from me, but now it seems she hasn't changed at all, still caring for me just like before. She just doesn't like to show it. At that moment, Lu Sisan's communication device suddenly rang. After she answered, a serious expression immediately appeared on her face. My investigation task and your special training will have to be put on hold for now. We need to head back to Pearl City immediately. Team leader Jean Bo has been attacked by the Natural Order Foxes and is seriously injured. I must return to the city to support him. Even he got injured? Why don't we ask for help from the outside investigation team or other external support? I asked, puzzled. To my question, Lu Sisan shook her head and said, that would only scare them off, and the world outside the city is quite complicated. I'll explain more on the way. On the road, she told me about the situation in the world outside the city. I don't know since when, but mutated beasts have been rampant, forcing the surviving humans to build walls for protection. Only the investigation teams and civilians awakened within the city can venture out to map new areas. Due to blocked transportation, according to the information from the investigation teams, the areas near Pearl City with fewer mutated beasts include villages and wild people, and further out lies an ocean. Due to the presence of top-tier mutated beasts at sea, further exploration has been halted. Whether other cities exist or what lies beyond the sea is still unknown. With this question in mind, I followed Lu Sisan into Pearl City. Members of the investigation team approached us, beginning to explain the current situation. These days, we rely on the celestial curtain to fully monitor the entire Pearl City, and no unusual activity from the Natural Order Fox has been detected. Until last night, the low to mid-level Natural Order Foxes from the Craftsman Street burst out. We went to confront them, not expecting it to be a trap. The enemy's leader was also present, and team leader Jean Bo got seriously injured while covering our retreat. The captain thinks you need to temporarily take over team leader Jin's duties and lead the team to guard the safety of Pearl City. After hearing this, Lu Sisan nodded. I quickly stepped forward to ask if she needed help. She replied, no need. Go back to the Iron Soul for now. I'll come find you when I have time. Alright, I hope both brother Jean Bo and Sisan are safe. I then turned and headed towards the city. Finally, I could relax a bit. These past few days in the wilderness have been exhausting, but halfway there, I suddenly sensed something was off. Looking at a nearby stall, I noticed that several people who were trading suddenly froze. I swiftly turned to look ahead, only to see an old man with white hair and beard, but not many wrinkles, hands clasped behind his back, smilingly standing in front of me. What's going on? Is he using a talent that conceals his identity? I cautiously initiated the appraisal spell, but couldn't see any information. Name, information not visible. Ability, information not visible. The old man's eyes seemed to see through me as he cheerfully said, stop trying to identify. I have an ability that blocks identification. Even if you try a million times, you won't be able to identify anything. Hearing this, I immediately confirmed the old man's identity. His voice, I had heard it before through the whisperer. It was indeed the leader of the Purge squad, Sidhu Shirbai. Old man, do you need something from me? Although Sidhu Shirbai appeared calm, his aura was chilling. He smiled slightly and said, join me for a bit. Let me see your potential. Hearing this, I immediately pulled out my dagger and charged at him. But just as my attack was about to hit, the air in front of me seemed to crack like a mirror. The next second, Sidhu Shirbai's figure vanished from the spot. Spatial rift? No, it's a teleportation ability. He teleported behind me. Realizing this, I quickly swung my fist behind me. Before my attack could reach him, Sidhu Shirbai blocked it with one hand. He said with a smile, you need to improve your speed. Is that so? I replied, while secretly gathering a ball of fire in my right hand behind my back. Taking him by surprise, I grabbed his arm. I thought the intense flame would ignite his body starting from his arm, but to my surprise, Sidhu Shirbai's body turned into an ethereal state. You've been attacking for a while now. It's my turn, said Sidhu Shirbai as his ethereal double gradually faded, and I saw his real body launching an attack at the same time. With a bang, several ice bolts, just like those used by Sisan, shot towards me. I immediately ordered my body to dodge left and right continuously. How many skills does he have? He's like a monster. With my current speed, it's impossible to dodge them all. Out of necessity, I used my ultimate skill, Body of Nether Mist. First, I used 5 points of Nether Mist to transform into a shield to block the ice bolts. After the ice bolts stopped, I spent more Nether Mist to launch a ranged slash, and at the same time, time, I increased my speed to the maximum, flashing to Sidu Shirbai's side. Sidu Shirbai smiled slightly and said, "You're a bit clever, but unfortunately, your strength is still not enough." After that, he released a powerful psychic force from his body. Before I could get close, I was blown away by this force. At that moment, I felt as though hundreds of pounds were pressing on me, completely immobilizing me. However, it's rare for someone at your level to have this kind of strength. Talk with me. After saying this, he withdrew the psychic force from my body. I remained silent for a moment, then cautiously approached and asked, "May I know how to address you?" This question was a probe to see if he knew that I had used my ability, Whisper, to listen in on the secrets of the Purge squad. Sidu Shirbai casually waved his hand. "Aren't you already aware of my name? You can call me whatever. It seems the Purge squad has thoroughly investigated all my information. However, I wonder what Sidu Shirbai aims to achieve by meeting me in this manner." Before I could continue thinking, Sidu Shirbai sipped his tea and said with a faint smile, "Zhang Ping, it's best not to think too much before you can block others from reading your mind. It's been 200 years since an unlimited level ability user appeared in Pearl City after me. How could I not come and see?" Hearing this, I was so surprised that my jaw dropped. "You mean I'm at the unlimited level? What is unlimited level? Isn't the highest level and talent for humans the top level?" Sidu Shirbai laughed and explained, "An unlimited level can remove the upper limit on the number of talents and continuously awaken new talents. I am very curious about one thing, that is, whether my unlimited level ability path of others can copy your unlimited level ability contract gem. I won't experiment for nothing. No matter the result, I will give you a gift and answer all your questions." After listening, I asked calmly yet cautiously, "Can I refuse?" Sidu Shirbai nodded and smiled. "Of course, you can, but you might want to see my offer first. This bracelet, called Golden Treasury, was a piece of equipment I often used in my early years. It stores a skill. You should understand what this means." Seeing this, my eyes lit up. "Mr. Sidu, you are too generous. Storage space is exactly what I need." Sidu Shirbai nodded and motioned for me to stretch out my hand. I didn't refuse and placed my hand above his. After a moment, he let go of me and sighed deeply. "It's over. I can't copy your ability, not even those derived abilities. It seems your ability is very special. All abilities could potentially become limitless. It's yours now." Saying that, he handed the bracelet to me. I thanked him profusely and immediately initiated an identification. Identification successful. In the playback, a woman is seen tied up, then gold is cast onto her body. Several awakened stand around her, activating their powers simultaneously, gradually causing the woman's body to start burning, along with the gold turning into smoke. After a large amount of smoke dissipates, only a bracelet remains. After watching, I felt uneasy. Such methods are indeed too cruel. After calming myself for a moment, I turned to Sidu Shirbai and couldn't help but ask, "Mr. Sidu, is the process of making special equipment always this cruel?" Sidu Shirbai explained, "That was common practice around 200 years ago. Afterward, through hundreds of reforms and governance efforts, such methods of sacrificing humans to create artifacts were gradually banned, now only applied to death row prisoners." 200 years ago? I suddenly realized that the school curriculum indeed mentioned very little about that period. "Mr. Sidu, what was Pearl City like 200 years ago? Was it common to treat human life so cheaply?" Sidu Shirbai glanced at the bracelet on my wrist and replied, "Yes, 200 years ago, Pearl City wasn't called Pearl City. It was known as Zhu City. It was ruled by a family, the beast-taming Zhu clan. Under their rule, everyone in Zhu City was a slave to the Zhu clan. Everyone saw no future, no hope. Men worked day and night only to receive a meager amount of food. Any woman with slight beauty was chosen to be a slave for the Zhu clan, becoming playthings for their profligate sons. All children were managed collectively, being indoctrinated day and night with loyalty to the Zhu clan. The elderly who couldn't work were used as feed for mutated beasts. Back then, once someone became an awakener, they were either controlled as slaves or used as materials to create artifacts. This is why some people of ambition silently gathered strength and eventually united to overthrow the Zhu clan's rule." After hearing this, I could imagine the situation at the time. Perhaps awakened back then were even worse off. "So that's it." Sidu Shirbai sighed softly. "Do you have any other questions? Mr. Sidu, with your capabilities, why don't you act to take down Princess Luo Xiu and liberate this city again?" Sidu Shirbai shook his head in response to my question. "It's not that I don't act, but rather that I cannot. You might think that Pearl City's defenses are weak, unaware of the natural order Fox invasion, but that's incorrect. In fact, Pearl City's defense system is quite perfect. Not only does the external investigation team scout and drive away newly emerging mutated beasts, but the Purge squad also regularly clears out threatening mutated beasts outside the city. Moreover, the city is also protected by the King's divine artifact, Sun and Moon Bright Pearl, which suppresses all foreign races. Within the range of the Sun and Moon Pearl, all creatures are downgraded to under level 40. That is, even if a king-level mutated beast invades, it will be downgraded to top level, and I without a doubt am the strongest among the top level. But now, I started realizing something and quickly asked, "Sidu Shirbai, do you mean there's a traitor in the city?" Sidu Shirbai nodded slightly. "Since the overthrow of the Zhu clan, aside from the city lord and me, only the remnants of the beast-taming Zhu clan know how to control the artifact. Hearing this, I clenched my fists. Images of what I had seen flashed through my mind. The skinned and bloodied Su Jingyao, Princess Luo Shiyu tearing apart a girl, natural order fox devouring limbs. Did the Zhu clan of the beast-taming family turn off the sun and moon bright pearl and then let the natural order fox in? Is the recent gathering and riot of mutated beasts also related to them? Why weren't these scumbags completely killed off back then? Situ Shirbai replied with a wry smile. The Zhu clan had been operating in Pearl City for hundreds of years and has an unfathomable foundation. Moreover, right after the Zhu clan's rule was overthrown, order in Pearl City was chaotic, and many people who had been brainwashed from childhood still harbored immense hatred towards us. In such a situation, there wasn't much we could do. This invasion by the natural order fox has too many suspicious points. Why didn't the sun and moon bright pearl activate? Is the city lord dead or alive? What are the intentions of the Zhu clan of the beast-taming family? What capabilities does the king of the natural order fox clan have? We need answers to these questions before I can make a move. Otherwise, falling into the enemy's trap, if I die in battle, Pearl City truly will have no hope. After calming down, having thought it through, I realized the importance of Situ Shirbai's position. At this moment, he indeed could not afford to act recklessly. Even if Princess Luo Shiyu continues to provoke and kill people, anyone might act rashly, but Situ Shirbai cannot. At that moment, Situ Shirbai turned to me and said, "Although I can't replicate your ability, we need you, young Zhang Ping. Would you like to join the Purge squad?" Upon hearing this, I firmly and without hesitation replied, I would. Meanwhile, inside the Iron Soul blacksmith shop, Wang Jiamin asked with a worried face, "It's been several days now. I wonder when Zhang Ping will return." Cho Kong jokingly responded after hearing this, "What, missing him? No wonder you've been distracted these past few days." Wang Jiamin's face turned red, and she quickly turned her head away. "Not at all. It's just that these past few days no one has been here to guide my training, so I'm just... Also, I don't know how he's doing outside the city, whether he might encounter any danger." Cho Kong, grinning mischievously, leaned in and teased further, "Look at you, acting like a little wife, still saying you don't think about him every day." Wang Jiamin, blushing even more, hurriedly explained, "I do not." "Alright, I'll stop teasing you," Cho Kong said, picking up a weapon she had just finished forging to start cooling it. "Actually, the villages outside the city and areas frequented by dangerous mutated beasts have all been marked. As long as Zhang Ping doesn't wander into those places, he should be mostly safe." Wang Jiamin, curious, responded, "This is the first time I've heard that there are villages outside Pearl City." Cho Kong laughed. "Of course, there are. Those villages are often isolated, backward, and xenophobic, with many even worshipping mutated beasts as deities. If you ever find yourself walking in the wild and come across a village or are in lawless areas, it's best to steer clear. Otherwise, if they capture you, you're likely to become a slave or a sacrifice." Wang Jiamin, incredulously, asked, "Aren't they all humans? Shouldn't we be able to communicate?" Cho Kong shook her head, reminding her they can hardly be called human. In the wild, the most dangerous thing is not the mutated beasts, but these savages. Some of them like to wear strange masks and appear silently behind you. Just as she said this, Wang Jiamin suddenly spotted a terrifying shadow drifting in from outside the door. "Cho Kong, look quick. Is it like what you described?" Cho Kong turned around in confusion and indeed saw a menacing black shadow rushing towards them. Seeing their panicked expressions, I, disguised as the shadow, couldn't help but feel thrilled. Unexpectedly, once Cho Kong realized what was happening, she landed a devastating kick to my groin. The next second, a crack sounded, as if the entire world had lost its color. Sweating profusely, I tried to stay calm and lamented in a mournful tone, "Cho Kong, wasn't that a bit too harsh?" Because I hadn't removed my disguise, she didn't recognize it was me. "On guard," Cho Kong demanded. "Who are you?" I laughed and dispelled the black mist enveloping me, explaining, "It's me, Zhang Ping." Upon realizing this, the two were speechless. "You little rascal, not even a word when you get back, scaring us like that." Anticipating more scolding, I quickly said, "I just got here and overheard you talking about savage villagers, so I thought I'd add to the atmosphere. I didn't expect to be greeted with a kick the moment you turned around." Upon learning that I wouldn't be leaving the city again soon, Cho Kong picked up her jacket and stepped outside. "Perfect timing. I just found a clue about Shan Shan and was planning to leave the city myself. Please take care of Uncle Lu. Someone here has been daydreaming about you every day. I'll leave you to it then." Hearing this, Wang Jiamin blushed again, covering her face as she hurried to the door. "It's getting late. I should also go back to my room to rest. By the way, Zhang Ping, it's really good that you're back." After saying this, she left without looking back. Watching her retreating figure, a warm feeling rose in my heart. For the first time in a long while, I felt like I was coming home. Just then, Uncle Lu's voice suddenly reached my ears. "Everyone's gone to their rooms, and you're still standing here grinning like a fool? Go find Cho Kong first thing tomorrow. Tell her I've fallen seriously ill, and ask her not to leave the city." I quickly asked, "Uncle Lu, what's wrong with you? Is it serious?" He tapped my head and explained, "There's nothing wrong with me. Shan Shan has been missing for so long. She's probably met with misfortune by now. Cho Kong has been taking care of me all this time. She wants to investigate Shan Shan's whereabouts, but I don't want her to take any more risks. I worry she might end up in danger too. That's why I'm pretending pretending to be sick and foolish to keep her from having time to embark on another risky adventure. Cho Kong is deeply loyal. Once she has someone on her mind, she thinks things through more and won't easily venture into danger. Understanding Uncle Lu's intentions, I acknowledged, "You've really been through a lot." Uncle Lu clacked his tobacco pipe, then began to say, "You have a talent for forging, but Cho Kong isn't very good at teaching, and she isn't very devoted to forging, so there are many gaps. In the next few days, I will teach you the real kneading forging technique. My skill isn't a secret, but it is unique to the Lu family, so you must learn it well." Hearing this, my face brightened, and I nodded firmly. I will definitely live up to Uncle Lu's expectations. Time quickly reached late at night. As I slept, I suddenly heard a familiar voice. "Zhang Ping, keep going, I'm waiting." Surprised by the voice, I suddenly sat up in bed. I recognized the voice. It was Su Jingyao, who was already dead. As Uncle Lu wished, Cho Kong did not leave the city, and Uncle secretly taught me the real kneading forging technique. I applied this technique to the Nether Mist, allowing the mist to take on more precise forms, strengthening it in a sense. Wang Jiamin successfully mastered the Ape King style from the first 3 styles. That night, I was certain I heard Su Jingyao's voice. The feeling was familiar, so I immediately sought confirmation from the Purge squad. "Captain, is there a natural order fox disguised near the blacksmith district? I heard it very clearly just now." "Soon," Situ Shirbai replied. "The area where you are currently active has already been cleared. There shouldn't be any natural order foxes." If it wasn't the Wind Whisperer hearing this, then what was that voice? What could it be? I considered another possibility. Perhaps Su Jingyao hadn't died, but was living in some other way. To seek revenge and find answers, I would personally tear off the natural order fox's mask. Time quickly moved to 3 days later. Under a January night, outside a certain house, a man quietly sneaked into the Su family's estate. He licked his lips, displaying a lecherous smile, sleeping so soundly. The drug I administered today must have worked. I've long heard that Miss Su is voluptuously beautiful, and tonight I'll have a taste first to see if she's as juicy as everyone says. He closed his eyes, sniffing the air excitedly. I've captured Miss Su's scent. Indeed very fragrant, very juicy. However, just as he was about to proceed, my voice suddenly reached his ears. Zheng Xiaofan, nicknamed Short Stack Teddy Bear, height 5 feet, sleazy and despicable appearance, disliked by women, gradually becoming twisted and perverted, has harassed hundreds of women over the past decade, committing murder to cover his tracks 65 times. Am I wrong? Hidden in the Nether Mist, I looked down on the disgusting rapist before me. Zheng Xiaofan instantly broke out in a cold sweat, frantically asking who I was. I sneered, "Sent to collect your life." In fact, I had heard Zheng Xiaofan's monologue while scouting the Su family this morning through the Wind Whisperer, so I had noted this incident. I came specifically to cut off this man's claws. At this moment, Zheng Xiaofan only felt a chill shooting up to his forehead, and he started running out. But just as he made it to the courtyard, a spike I had transformed from Nether Mist pierced through his calf. Turning his head, he could only see rolling black mist approaching him. Panicked, his pants gradually became wet, and then he fell to the ground, fainting from fear. Seeing this, I was somewhat speechless, thinking that a serial killer would be tough, but he fainted so quickly. I then took off the mask from his face and started checking his information. Ding! Identification successful. Zheng Xiaofan, level 13, abilities, pharmaceutical mastery, able to analyze and identify whether items have medicinal properties and can utilize them to concoct drugs. Love mask, the mask Zheng Xiaofan wore while committing crimes. Such a great ability wasted on evil deeds. What a waste. I cursed, and then, using the mask, I viewed the playback of scenes that enraged me. I saw a weak mother lying on the ground, crying and begging Zheng Xiaofan to spare her daughter. What a waste. Zheng Xiaofan kicked her. "Even after taking my drugs, you're still not behaving. Blame your husband. If he hadn't died early, I wouldn't have targeted you and your daughter." A city guard member, always talking about swearing to protect Pearl City. Now he's really dead. What a joke. He then sneered again, "But I should thank him for leaving you two to me." Saying that, he grabbed the girl next to him and began to assault her. "Don't worry, after I'm done, I'll send you to see him. You are all my toys." This was just one of the tragic scenes. There were countless girls harmed by Zheng Xiaofan. While I was viewing the playback, he pretended to be unconscious and suddenly grabbed a handful of powdered drugs, throwing them at me while boasting triumphantly, "This drug is enough to knock out a large mutated beast. Once you're asleep, I'll enjoy torturing you." After hearing this, I snorted coldly in anger and crushed the mask in my hand. Thanks to the protective Nether Mist, the drugs had no effect on me. I waved my hand lightly, and the next second, a slicing attack appeared on his chest. "You really deserve to die. However, I won't let you die so easily." One slash for that mother who gave her life to protect her daughter. One slash for that girl who chose death over submission. One slash to honor that hero of the patrol team. One slash in memory of that just detective. One slash to commemorate that nameless awakener. Slash after slash. Zheng Xiaofan's height shrank from 1.5 meters to less than 1 meter, the ground covered with the blood and remains of his crawling. He no longer had the strength to run and lay on the ground waiting for death, but the slash of death did not fall. Standing beside Zheng Xiaofan, my hollow voice slowly rose. "I will not kill you. There are many medicines in this world, and your injuries might not be untreatable. I give you a chance. If you can make it out the main door, I will spare your life. I did not want him to die too easily. He did not deserve such an easy death. Xing Xiaofan, the despair you brought to these people, I will return to you manifold. This is your last chance, I said, pointing to the nearby main door. Indeed, the glimmer of hope reappeared in Xing Xiaofan's eyes. He did not want to die yet, with many young and beautiful women still waiting for his touch. How could he die here? Once I heal, I will make you pay. I will flay and dismember you. Grunting with pain, he continued crawling forward. Indeed, this time I did not strike him again. He could make it. He could survive. Driven by a strong will to live, he slowly crawled toward the door. The short distance seemed so long, it felt like a century had passed. Gradually, he reached the door. When he reached out with his blood-soaked hands to push it open, he found a latch on the door about a meter off the ground. The problem was his legs were nearly severed, and he couldn't reach the latch. He pounded on the door in vain, unable to move it. At this point, I came up behind him, chuckling coldly. Can't you open this door? I gave you a chance, and you squandered it. Xing Xiaofan, you have failed. Thus, I decree, your time has come. With that, I no longer held back, directly manifesting a blade that pierced his chest. After dealing with him, I prepared to leave with mixed emotions. But just then, I suddenly heard a hoarse voice through the power of the wind whisper. Are you sure? At Hanhai Academy, today is a special day. Find an opportunity. Take her away. After hearing this conversation, I immediately reported the situation to Sidu Shirbai. There's something happening at Hanhai Academy. It seems someone is planning to forcefully take something. After pondering for a moment, Sidu Shirbai instructed, Zhang Ping, you go first and keep reporting the situation. I will contact Lu Sisan immediately. Don't act rashly before reinforcements arrive. I acknowledged and immediately set off. Soon after, I arrived at Hanhai Academy, where several mysterious figures cloaked in capes quietly entered the academy. The leading man frowned angrily and said, Damn, we've been searching for 15 minutes. Where the hell did Chen Shuling hide that woman? Hurry up, we don't have much time. We need to find her no matter what. At this moment, I was outside Hanhai Academy. I saw a stone column in the courtyard with a dragon sculpture perched on it, covered in strange red runes. I immediately attempted to identify the stone column, succeeding only after numerous attempts. Dragon subduing stone, East, quality, epic. For dragon subduing stones, when placed at their corresponding positions, can form the dragon subduing battle-breaking barrier, concealing its users while disrupting and nullifying most barriers. The next moment, I saw the manufacturing scene of the dragon subduing stone, a turning millstone, screaming awaken, drops of blood falling one by one, flowing into it through a funnel-shaped special device. The blood eventually turned into a black liquid, which merged into the dragon subduing stone. The black dragon perched on the stone gradually lit up its eyes, turning a blood red. Seeing this scene, my face turned grim. Indeed, the manufacturing process for most special equipment is incredibly evil and inhumane. The three people inside the house were clearly not from the three major organizations. Could they be remnants of the Zhu clan? After identifying the dragon subduing stone, sudden noises came from inside the house. I quickly hid on the side, only to see three black-clothed figures stealthily climbing out of the window, carrying a fainting young girl, preparing to retreat. Quickly collect the dragon subduing stones. Leave no traces, commanded the leader, and the others immediately started to act. I took the opportunity to identify them and reported the situation to Sidu Shirbai, confirming the enemies were from the Zhu clan forces, one level 20 with analyzing ability, one level 17 with telekinetic, and another level 15 with hypnotic abilities. The fainted girl being carried away was named Chin Junting, level 13, potential of 12 stars, abilities, Saint's Blood. Her blood can enhance affinity towards all living beings and turn them into fervent followers. After leveling up, it can even become a passive skill and expand its range of use. However, it should be noted that those who consume the holy blood will no longer be able to use their abilities and will encounter continuous misfortunes. After seeing the girl's information, I couldn't help but gasp. What an absurd growth value. And her ability is practically an advanced version of the contract gem. Is the Zhu clan planning to use her to control someone? After the three mysterious figures collected the dragon subduing stone, I was alert, determined not to let the Zhu clan succeed. Regardless, they leaped up and disappeared on the spot. Sensing that they were heading towards the outskirts of the city, Manny from the Purge squad base relayed information through her ability. Time was of the essence, and there was no time to wait for Lu Sisan to join up. I decided to pursue alone, first using the Nether Mist to stall them. 10 minutes later, the three had reached the forest outside the city. I took a shortcut and caught up with them, disguising myself as an altered beast using the Nether Mist. Thanks to the dough-kneading forging technique, the disguise was very realistic, but I had to be careful not to be detected by the level 20 identifier. At this moment, the three blocked figures were clearly very surprised. The leading man immediately tried to identify my level, but as he made a move, I interrupted him with a ranged attack. I controlled the Nether Mist, leaped behind him, and bit down on his back. The man reacted quickly, dodging while urgently telling his companion to use hypnosis. The heavy-set one immediately began to act, waving his arms and emitting a purple aura. His pupils suddenly contracted, staring intently at me. But as an altered beast myself, I'm immune to any psychic controls, so his hypnosis had no effect on me. However, this presented a good opportunity. I decided to pretend to be controlled, to close the distance. Don't move. Then I took the chance to attack. The heavy-set one was taken aback by this and tried to dodge, but it was too late. The distance was too close. The heavy-set man had no chance to dodge and could only watch as he died by my mouth. The man carrying the girl was a psychic. Angrily, he used his power to slam me aside. I struggled to get up and quickly put some distance between us. Although I had successfully dealt with one enemy, all I had to do was stall them now. While I was contemplating, the man used a psychic gravity surge. The next second, a tremendous force as heavy as a mountain pressed down on me, and under this force, I couldn't move at all. The leader quickly scanned my information. Name, Zhangping. Level, 9. Low-level awakener. Faction, Iron Soul Blacksmith Shop and Purge Squad. Ability, unknown. After reading the information, he sneered. It turns out to be a human, and just a level 9 rookie at that. Since you're one of Sidu Shirbai's people, I can't let you live. At that moment, the leader pulled out a bow and arrow, ready to finish me off. I wouldn't just sit there waiting to be killed. My brain worked rapidly, thinking of a countermeasure. Although my body was completely suppressed by the gravity, thankfully, it did not affect the activation of the Nether Mist. I immediately consumed some of the Nether Mist, shooting it off my body like a blade, all of it targeting the two enemies. Simultaneously, I quietly released some Nether Mist into the ground. Still trying to struggle, the man scoffed, easily knocking down the incoming Nether Mist. However, he didn't notice that several clumps of Nether Mist had quietly emerged from the ground. Under my control, the Nether Mist quickly entwined around the arms of the two men. As I expected, the moment their arms were entangled, the psychic gravity pressing on me instantly failed. I seized the opportunity to rush forward, aiming to deliver a fatal blow to Huang Er. With his arms bound, Huang Er saw no way to dodge and used his psychic power to forcefully break free from the restraints. He then grabbed my arm and sneered, "If this is your trump card, then you might as well die. Such an attack can't possibly harm me." Before he could finish speaking, a surge of intense heat burst from my body. Huang Er was shocked, quickly releasing me and attempting to extinguish the flames that had caught onto him. However, their clothes had fire-resistant properties, so my Fire Devourer ability didn't have much effect. At this point, Zhu Zijuan and Huang Er apparently didn't want to waste any more time. They pulled out their weapons, preparing to kill me outright. Huang Er scoffed, "You've got quite a few tricks, but this is where it ends." I was not intimidated, chuckling in response. "The timing is just about right." Zhu Zijuan sneered in response, "You mean the time to die? The time to hold you up?" As soon as my words fell, a column of water suddenly surged from above. Before the two could react, it pierced through Huang Er's chest. Zhu Zijuan, thinking this was my doing, immediately dropped his bow and arrow. As the arrows were about to hit me, I swiftly commanded a dodge. Although I narrowly avoided them, my shoulder was still pierced. At this moment, Lu Sisan had already killed Huang Er with a single stroke and raised her sword to attack Zhu Zijuan. Zhu Zijuan retreated rapidly, dodging continuously and cursing through gritted teeth. "Damn it, this woman is too strong. She's not someone I can handle. I'll have to use that move." Knowing he couldn't win, Zhu Zijuan forcefully smashed the ring on his index finger. In the next second, a thunderous roar sounded. A brilliant bolt of lightning struck from the sky, causing the ground around him to shake violently. Zhu Zijuan was at the center of the lightning, and the ground nearby sank into a large pit, filling the air with a strong smell of ozone. When the smoke cleared, Zhu Zijuan had completely escaped the scene. Lu Sisan, seeing this, sighed in resignation. "It's a pity we couldn't capture a remnant of the Zhu clan alive, but at least Zhangping is safe." Just then, an urgent voice came through the communication device. "Sisan, bring Zhangping back quickly. The celestial curtain has been cracked." At the same time, on the roof of the city lord's mansion, the sound of the lightning was also heard by the Natural Order Fox's Princess Luoshiyu. Even with the light screen blocking, it could still feel the fluctuations of that lightning. "What was that noise?" asked Princess Luoshiyu. The deputy city lord, Wang Ziming, heard this and, although panicked, managed to keep a calm facade. That was myriad thundering call. Could it be that Zhu Zijuan ran into trouble? He thought to himself. Unfortunately, that noise had just caught Princess Luoshiyu's attention. Wang Ziming paused for a moment and then explained, "It might just be thunder." Princess Luoshiyu gave him a cold look and questioned, "Have you noticed anything unusual?" Wang Ziming's forehead sweated as he hastily replied, "No." Princess Luoshiyu sensed his nervousness and coldly questioned, "Then why are you so nervous?" Wang Ziming collapsed to his knees, hurriedly making an excuse. "Your Highness, I have been afraid of thunder since I was a child." Wang Ziming kneeled and explained. Princess Luoshiyu scoffed, "Useless thing." He then stopped suspecting Wang Ziming and looked toward where the thunder had struck, contemplating. The sound came from not far outside the city. Logically, we should be able to see it. At that time, that person was critically injured, undoubtedly doomed to die, but in the blink of an eye, he vanished without a trace. To escape so boldly from under my nose, it must be a sophisticated illusion. Human illusions can't directly affect our kind, but they can obscure our vision indirectly. Princess Luoshiyu suddenly understood, his expression turning even colder. Perhaps the entire Pearl City is a facade, playing a clever game. Realizing this, its expression grew colder. The next moment, Princess Luoshiyu floated into the air, its tail swiftly lengthening and branching out, spreading like a vast net over the entire city. The tail slowly descended, and red eyes opened on it one by one. Meanwhile, Lu Sisan, who was fighting outside the city, also noticed the scene. There was no time to search for the girl from Hanhai Academy. The celestial curtain was rapidly fading, and they had to evacuate immediately. I pointed the nightingale lantern, and after a moment's thought, she took me and teleported away quickly. Soon after, Princess Luoshiu, through the eyes on its tail, spotted Juzijuan, who was carrying Chin Junting and trying to escape. It sneered, finally found the rat. It then charged directly toward Juzijuan's location at high speed. Seeing this, Wang Ziming immediately sensed danger. It's over, it has found us. At that moment, in a part of the city, many remnants of the Zhu clan were gathered. As he fled, Juzijuan communicated to them through a psychic message. The Purge squad still has a mole named Zhang Ping in the city. Our operation tonight was disrupted by him. Huang San and Huang Er are dead, and I had to use Myriad Thundering Call at the last minute. That Zhang Ping survived, but I managed to gather some information on him. Apart from the Purge squad, he's also affiliated with Iron Soul Blacksmith Shop. Just after conveying this information, a cry of surprise suddenly came from Juzijuan's side. Luo Shiyu, what are you doing here? Then a scream followed, and the communication device went silent. What's going on? Answer me. Huang, the man coordinating the operation, urgently called out, but there was no response. Just then, Wang Ziming's figure suddenly appeared at the scene. He shook his head and gave a wry smile. No need to shout anymore. The plan has failed. Juzijuan was killed by the fox. Hearing this, everyone was extremely furious. Are all our years of effort wasted then? Without the Saintus, how can we control those foxes? Wang Ziming paused for a moment and replied, the Saintus is still alive. She's the nemesis of the natural order foxes. Princess Luoshiu, discovering he can't kill her, will surely bring her back to the city lord's mansion. The mansion has a secret passage that leads directly outside the city, and currently, only I know about it. You guys send the mutated beasts through the secret passage into the city lord's mansion to cause trouble for the foxes, and I'll take the opportunity to rescue the Saintus. Hearing this, one of the men retorted, that sounds easy, but with Princess Luoshiu guarding the city lord's mansion, what can we do with just these few mutated beasts? Wang Ziming chuckled and said, that's why we need to make use of Zhang Ping, the Purge squad's mole. Now that Princess Luoshiu is monitoring the whole city, any anomaly will provoke his personal action. We just need to send elites to attack the ironworks where Zhang Ping is, which will draw both the Purge squad and Princess Luoshiu. While they are fighting, we will control the mutated beasts to attack the city lord's mansion and catch them off guard. But doing so will mean completely burning bridges with the natural order fox, someone worriedly said. Wang Ziming declared firmly, that's why we must succeed, not fail. Do not reveal my identity during the operation. After hearing this, everyone nodded in agreement, exclaiming, truly worthy of the Zhu clan lineage. Deputy City Lord, we will continue to play your part. Please take care of the Saintus. Zhu Ziming. Meanwhile, after Lu Sisan rescued me from the remnants of the Zhu clan, she brought me back to the Purge squad's base. Sidu Shirbai organized a meeting, speculating that the Zhu clan was at odds with the natural order fox, and the girl taken from Hanhai Academy last night might be key in combating the natural order fox. Su Jia then relayed information she had gathered about Hanhai Academy. The academy's master, Chen Shuling, had only one son, Chen Haowen, who reportedly died 14 years ago. That same year, Chen Shuling suddenly claimed to the public that he had a granddaughter named Chin Junting. According to the investigation, Chin Junting is not from Pearl City's lineage and likely comes from a village outside the city. Her ability seems to be called Saintus blood. Hearing this, Sidu Shirbai frowned deeply. Outside the city, the Saintus, could it be from the Holy Ancestors village? Simultaneously, at the city lord's mansion, Princess Luoshiu had brought Chin Junting there. Since contacting Chin Junting, it had noticed many irregularities. Her ability was strange, and it completely failed to resist this eerie charm. It could not feel any hostility towards Chin Junting, no matter what she did, and it found it difficult to get angry or even stop her from doing anything. As a princess of the natural order fox, I can't be the problem. The problem must be with this human. Who exactly is she? 2 days later, at the Purge squad's training room, Lu Sisan was training with me. After a fierce fight, I was defeated and tightly bound by her water ropes. However, I also managed to sneak attack with a dagger made of Nether Mist, breaking through her defenses. Lu Sisan was somewhat surprised. Your Nether Mist actually managed to break through my defense despite the level difference. It's truly surprising. Perhaps the Nether Mist mutant beast is a descendant of a king-level mutant beast, inheriting some characteristics, allowing Nether Mist to inflict damage beyond its level. However, you still lack combat experience. If it were a fight to the death. Are you done now? Lu Sisan's words had just ended when the water ropes wrapping around me suddenly heated up, scalding me and causing me to yell in pain. She looked pleased. Knowing the characteristics of your abilities is important. Think more about it. For example, water can be transformed into ice, hot water, or vapor, all of which can produce unexpected effects during combat. I then chuckled and transformed Nether Mist into a spider, creeping up to her. Lu Sisan got frightened and reflexively blasted a column of water at me, soaking me thoroughly, with some of the water even getting into my mouth. Seeing Seeing this, Lu Sisan quickly grabbed me, shaking me vigorously. Spit it out. My water element is pure water. It's toxic. But just after shaking me a couple of times, my pants suddenly fell down, and my lower half turned into a pool of water. Feeling something was off, I quickly looked at my hands, and the next moment, they also turned into pure water. Could this be a new ability awakening? As I pondered, I activated an appraisal spell. Identification successful. Summon Beast. Junting. Level 9. Omnivore. When you consume special items, there is a 10% chance of acquiring the corresponding special constitution. Pure water body. Your body can transform into a pure water body, resisting various physical attacks. I didn't expect to awaken 2 talents this time. This pure water body is pretty straightforward. But what exactly is this omnivore ability? I pondered as my body gradually turned into a puddle of liquid. Lu Sisan asked anxiously if I was okay, to which I replied, I'm fine. I should be able to change back. Just need some time to get used to it. Since the Nether Mist form and pure water body have similarities, like the transformation abilities of Nether Mist, I should be able to change back by carefully feeling my own body. I tried to adapt, slowly controlling myself to first flatten against the ground, then another next to it. Finally, after half an hour of effort, I completely recovered, transforming from a water person back to human form. Lu Sisan's cheeks flushed. She turned around and said, put on your clothes first. What exactly happened to you just now? As I dressed, I explained, it seems that I accidentally drank the water you made and awakened the pure water body. Hearing this, Lu Sisan's eyes widened. Pure water body. Junting's growth rate is too fast, especially the pure water body. That's exactly the ability every water element users can only dream of, and he awakened it so effortlessly. Is this what they call an unlimited level awakener? While she was marveling, her communicator suddenly rang. Report. Team leader. Iron Soul has been attacked, requesting reinforcements. After receiving the message, I hurriedly followed Lu Sisan to the Iron Soul blacksmith shop. When we arrived, we saw many bodies lying in disarray inside the shop. Anxiously, I rushed to the backyard to look for survivors. Hearing my voice, Sister Kwang emerged from the corner. At this moment, Sister Kwang's left arm had been severed, and she was extremely weak. Fortunately, Uncle Lu and Wang Jiamin were not severely injured, just unconscious. Sister Kwang's arm had been violently chopped off, and the wound was very severe. Seeing my worried look, she shook her head and reassured, it's okay, missing an arm won't kill me. Lu Sisan directed the team to take them back to the Purge squad base for treatment. Watching them in this state, a surge of hatred rose within me. The beast-taming Zhu clan in this Pearl City. Those who want my life are mostly them. Lu Sisan nodded. I'll arrange to investigate immediately. No sooner had she spoken than the raspy voice of Natural Order Fox suddenly reached my ears through the Wind Whisperer's ability. The voice was Luo Shiu's, and it was very clear, as if she were nearby. The energy fluctuation just now came from here. Many of our kind have died nearby before. Could it be related to these 2 people? It is a critical time. We'd rather waste food than miss any threat. The moment the voice ended, Princess Luo Shiu's tail suddenly descended from the sky, almost striking me and Lu Sisan. After we dodged the attack, Princess Luo Shiu sneered. Interesting. After swiftly dodging with Lu Sisan, I watched her warily and decisively initiated an appraisal spell, but 3 consecutive attempts failed. Seeing this, Lu Sisan took action, directly unleashing a blizzard, sending countless ice spears sweeping toward Princess Luo Shiu. As the ice spears approached, they were blocked by a layer of illusory barrier around Princess Luo Shiu. With a casual wave of her hand, a red vortex appeared behind Lu Sisan, and suddenly a tail thrust violently toward her. Fortunately, she reacted in time, blocking the strike with an ice shield, but she couldn't see through Princess Luo Shiu's illusions and had to rely on changes in the surrounding cold air to judge her attacks. Princess Luo Shiu also noticed this and sneered. I want to see how you defend this time. After saying this, dozens of tails attacked all at once. Lu Sisan became somewhat flustered, with attacks fluctuating all around her, unsure of which direction to dodge. Seeing this, I quickly warned, be careful of the upper left, 379 degrees, 48 degrees, 12 o'clock. With my guidance, Lu Sisan successfully dodged the wave of attacks. Princess Luo Shiu's pupils suddenly constricted, turning her target toward me. Indeed, he can dodge every attack accurately. It seems Zhang Ping is the one who can recognize our clan's disguises. I should have killed you from the start. Let's see how long you can dodge. Princess Luo Shiu launched an attack at both me and Lu Sisan. Unable to dodge and guide Lu Sisan at the same time, I could only use the Nether Mist to tightly protect both of us. Luo Shiu, you seems a bit fiery. Did you get dumped recently? I taunted. My words enraged Princess Luo Shiu, who immediately took it seriously and controlled the remaining tails to swiftly converge on us. Tails fell like rain, furiously attacking me. So many probes and you've slipped through them all, but this time you won't escape. Princess Luo Shiu roared as tails continuously attacked, pushing me to the limit. What about the 3000? I grimly mused to myself. The frequency of Princess Luo Shiu's attacks was overwhelming, with at least 50 hits per second, each extremely powerful. In just 0.9 seconds, only 5% of my Nether Mist reserves remained. If this continued, once I ran out, Princess Luo Shiu would kill kill me instantly, and even my water body wouldn't be able to save me. As I watched the Nether Mist reserves diminish, I felt utterly helpless. Was I really going to fall here? Just as despair took hold, suddenly Sidu Shirbai's voice rang in my ear. Zhangping, lad, seize the moment. I can only create this opportunity once. As he spoke, 500 meters away, a beam of light shot from the sky, striking Princess Luoxiu and binding her in place. Her tails, now uncontrolled, limply fell to the side. Seizing the chance, I immediately released all the remaining Nether Mist to obscure our view and swiftly fled the scene with Lu Sisan. Princess Luoxiu, furious, trying to run, she revealed her true form, breaking free from the bindings, but by the time she scanned her surroundings, we had already vanished. To all, listen up, capture Zhangping at all costs, commanded Princess Luoxiu, prompting the natural order foxes around to start moving. Not long after, Lu Sisan and I finally reached the safe house of the Purge squad where Cho Kong was receiving treatment. Seeing her, my eyes reddened with guilt. I'm sorry, it's all because of me. Cho Kong smiled and shook her head. Blaming yourself. It's just an arm lost, not my life. Besides, I should be thanking you for saving Lu Uncle and the others. That girl is still waiting for you. Go take care of business. I nodded and stepped outside. Lu Sisan looked at me and reminded, you can't return to Pearl City for now. Your identity has been exposed. Wait for the captain's arrangements. Here's a reward from the Purge squad for you. She handed me a bottle of golden liquid. I took it, surprised, and asked, it couldn't be that golden blood. Lu Sisan nodded. Yes, it's Jin Bo's golden blood. He needs to store his blood periodically, which is usually used to treat teammates or extend the lives of meritorious elders. Try drinking it. See if you can acquire this power. Golden blood is a hereditary ability, so there's a chance it could pass to your descendants or skip generations. Be prepared and be wary of being targeted by unscrupulous women. I chuckled and drank the golden blood in one gulp, managing to swallow it despite the discomfort. It's only a chance of inheritance, not guaranteed, and who knows if I'll even have a wife in the future. Why worry about something so far off? Lu Sisan asked expectantly, how do you feel? Did you get the power? I shook my head. Doesn't seem like anything's changed, but after a while, I began to feel strange and looked down at my arm, which had turned into blood. I was momentarily stunned, then I used an appraisal spell on myself. Pure blood body. Your body can transform into a pure blood form, which can merge into the target's body to rapidly heal injuries. Moreover, this pure blood body seemed to have additional abilities, such as letting me sense the condition of people around me. Although Lu Sisan was still wearing a mask, through the perspective of the pure blood body, I could see the scars hidden on her face, instantly understanding why she always wore a mask. Sisan, in this state, I can sense the life status of all beings and can merge into someone's body to repair any injury, even scars, I said as I controlled my body. Lu Sisan was silent for a moment, then spoke, then try to see if you can heal Cho Qiang's severed arm. I nodded. As long as there's enough blood, theoretically, even if a person is reduced to just skin, I can fully restore their body. Then go treat Cho Kong. Lu Sisan pushed me towards the infirmary. I didn't refuse and said as I walked, we'll have a good chat later. Honestly, even though I've known you for so long, I still don't know how you've been these years. Lu Sisan was startled, then nodded slightly, a trace of sadness in her eyes. Meanwhile, outside the city in the woods, the ground suddenly began to shake violently. Looking out, countless mutant beasts were running towards Pearl City, their red eyes especially bright in the night. Among these beasts were also many undead zombies. As the undead were heading to Pearl City, Situ Shirbai was searching through records related to Holy Ancestor Village. Manny, curious, asked, Captain, why are you looking at this? Situ Shirbai sighed deeply. I don't know if you remember, although the Zhu clan did many cruel deeds while in power, at the very beginning, the beast-taming Zhu clan was also a heroic family. To resist the Great Winter Calamity, the Zhu clan head, Zhu Qian, merged with the Divine Sun bird, flew to the sky every day, bringing light and warmth to people. He persisted for 10 years until he died from exhaustion. Manny nodded. I know. After Zhu Qiang died, he was buried in the Sunset Mountains outside Pearl City. Now many villagers and scholars are grateful to him, guarding his tomb, and over hundreds of years, a village gradually formed around it, which is Holy Ancestor Village. Are recent events related to Holy Ancestor Village? Situ Shirbai continued. Every 100 years, Holy Ancestor Village produces a Saintus, whose bloodline can protect the village from any mutant beast attacks. Chin Junting is very likely the Saintus from Holy Ancestor Village, and the Zhu clan probably plans to use the Saintus to control the natural order foxes. Manny was puzzled. Why would the Saintus appear in Han Hai Academy? And with such events unfolding, how come there's no reaction from Holy Ancestor Village? Situ Shirbai pondered for a moment, not answering immediately. A terrible thought suddenly occurred to me. What if they are doing it on purpose? With the Saintus trapped in the city, Holy Ancestor Village could launch a war against Pearl City at any time. 150 years ago, Pearl City had a tyrannical city lord. To avoid repeating the Zhu clan's mistakes, the Purge squad listed her as the most wanted criminal and, together with the current city lord, successfully expelled her from the city. Somehow she became the leader of Holy Ancestor Village. Perhaps she has never given up on Pearl City, just waiting for the right moment to make a comeback. Meanwhile, in the Purge squad, Squad's outdoor safe house. The Purge Squad has established many hidden safe houses in the wild. Some are built into rocks, others are hidden underground or in trees. At this moment, inside Safe House 003, Lu Sisan felt the ground vibrations caused by the running mutant beasts and wondered, could this be the Zhu clan's doing again? I need to go out and check. But if this place is discovered, the wounded here will be in danger. As she was conflicted, I excitedly shouted while holding a lantern. It worked. Lu Sisan asked, puzzled. What worked? Wasn't that lantern out of energy? I chuckled. It was out of energy, but I thought it was a pity to just throw it away, so I tried to see if I could recharge it. What did you use to recharge it? I tried injecting Nether Mist, flame, pure water, and pure blood before, all unsuccessfully, but now it suddenly worked, and the effect has even been enhanced, I said excitedly. The ghost lantern's function is to conceal the scent information within a certain range around it, which is perfect for covering the safe house so we can go out to investigate safely. After setting up the lantern, Lu Sisan and I headed out to scout. Looking out, we saw a massive horde of mutant beasts and zombies rushing towards Pearl City, about 10,000 or more. These mutant beasts were not high level, mostly forest wolves and bullet rabbits, but the sheer number was overwhelming. When did the Zhu clan control so many mutant beasts? I frowned. Just then, I noticed something odd. Why are these mutant beasts running so desperately? It doesn't look like they are attacking something, more like they are fleeing. Sisan, look over there. Lu Sisan followed where I was pointing and was stunned, rooted to the spot. Once she recovered, she quickly reported the situation to Saintus headquarters. This is Lu Sisan. Near safe house number 3, a large number of undead are heading towards Pearl City, approximately 50,000. Hearing this number, Saintus was equally shocked. 10,000 mutant beasts, 50,000 zombies, and inside the city are the remaining Zhu clan and natural order foxes. Right now, there is a severe lack of manpower in the city, unable to confront so many enemies at once. Do I need to step in myself? There's another way. He pondered for a moment and then instructed, Manny, Chenluowei, Su Jia, get ready for the countermeasure plan. Prepare to reactivate the celestial curtain. Yesterday, when I covered for Zhang Ping, I suppressed Princess Luo Xiu, and now its power should not have fully recovered. Although we can rely on the city guard and the investigation team, there are still many strong forces in the city. We can engrave messages on the canopy to alert the whole city about the zombie attack. Once the awakened in the city are assembled, we can blend in, both protecting Pearl City and avoiding the natural order fox's surveillance. Go and act now. After Saintus arranged tasks for several people, he began other preparations intensively. He continued, Lu Sisan, Zhang Ping, I command you to block the mutant beasts and zombies outside the city as much as possible. Try to delay some time. After speaking, he contacted safe house number 5. A young man wearing glasses and carrying a long sword on his back answered the communicator. This is the branch. Captain, please instruct. Saintus voice came through the communicator. Quickly head to the vicinity of safe house number 3 to support Lu Sisan. The young man nodded and responded, understood. He called his teammates and immediately headed towards the city outskirts. Let's go. It's our turn to enter the scene. Meanwhile, in the city lord's mansion, Princess Luo Xiu went to the city to look for traces of the Purge squad. Before leaving, he learned that Chin Junting liked making friends, so he held a dance party for her. Vice City Lord Zhu Ziming intended to take Chin Junting away while Princess Luo Xiu was absent, but there were too many people at the party, and it was difficult to act. Moreover, the city guard's chief commander, Link D, and his subordinates came, and once they entered the hall, they behaved somewhat mechanically. Suddenly, the people in the hall began to dance like robots, clearly influenced by Saintus Chin Junting. Zhu Ziming tensed up, realizing the Saintus's power only affects mutant beasts, which means Link D and others must have already been replaced and mutated by the natural order fox. This important matter, and that fox didn't tell me. It seems it doesn't fully trust me. Zhu Ziming thought to himself, the situation indicating that there probably were no more living humans in the patrol team, and even everyone present might be transformed by the natural order fox. However, fortunately, they had been inadvertently controlled by Chin Junting, and she herself was not yet aware of this. If I can convince her to work for us, the plan can move directly to the next phase. With that thought, Zhu Ziming quietly approached Chin Junting, his face filled with a smile. Little sister Chin Junting, are you having fun? Chin Junting nodded with a smile. I just wanted to make some new friends. I didn't expect Sister Luo to throw such a big dance party for me. By the way, why hasn't Sister Luo come back yet? Zhu Ziming leaned in closer and grabbed her hand. She might be busy with something. Uncle knows a more fun place. Want to go together? Chin Junting hurriedly freed herself from his grasp, wearily stating, I haven't had enough fun yet. I clearly don't know you. How do you know my name? The surrounding natural order foxes, sensing Chin Junting's discomfort, stopped their dance and coldly watched Zhu Ziming's every move. Meanwhile, near safe house number 3, Lu Sisan and I also began to take action. I was responsible for using the Nether Mist to herd the mutant beasts together, preparing to prevent them from charging into Pearl City. Lu Sisan controlled the water flow to freeze these mutant beasts, but there were simply too many of them, wave after wave relentlessly advancing, making it increasingly difficult for us two to hold them back. Fortunately, the fear generated by these mutant beasts had allowed me to accumulate a significant amount. Now I could use the Nether Mist as I wished. Even if I continuously expended 100 Nether Mist, the consumed Nether Mist would replenish itself in moments. The body of Nether Mist could transform into various animals, even into a giant dragon. Although the situation remained dire, we had resolved that as long as we were not dead, we must do our best to hold off until reinforcements arrived. The defense battle of Pearl City had fully commenced, and Lu Sisan's and my task was to hold back the 50,000 zombies and mutant beasts as much as possible. At this moment, I used the Nether Mist to transform into a giant dragon, blocking the path of the mutant beasts. Fortunately, these mutant beasts were only focused on fleeing and had no intention to fight. Seeing the dragon, they simply bypassed it and continued to flee. Although Lu Sisan managed to eliminate many mutant beasts with her ice spikes, these creatures were endless, virtually impossible to finish off by just the two of us. Just as I was anxiously contemplating a strategy, suddenly several stones, fireballs, and ice bolts flew towards me, exploding right above my head. What's going on? I looked in the direction of the attack and saw 3 zombies staring at me with a smile. Zombies can use magic? I thought they only knew how to bite. Without further thought, I immediately used appraisal skill on these few zombies. Identification successful. Species: zombie. Faction: Holy Ancestor Village. Level: 6. Holy Ancestor Village. My heart tightened. I need to find a chance to relay this intelligence back to headquarters. At this moment, a large number of zombies swiftly charged at me, clinging on and starting to bite. The Nether Mist was useless against them because zombies do not feel fear. This way, the Nether Mist would eventually be exhausted. Realizing the dire situation, I swiftly flapped my wings, knocking the surrounding zombies away and grabbing a few, flying into midair. The remaining zombies, lacking long-range attack capabilities, could only stare helplessly from the ground. The zombies I captured were set aflame by me, and I cheerfully said, "Zombie fireball." With all my strength, I threw these burning zombies towards the densest part of the crowd below, and with a loud explosion, hundreds of zombies were obliterated. At that moment, Lu Sisan was swiftly swinging her ice sword, her graceful movements resembling those of a dancer, continuously maneuvering through the zombie horde. Each swing of her sword felled zombies. With our concerted counterattack, the main force of the first wave of the beast and zombie tide was largely dealt with, totaling over 1,000. The second wave is estimated to arrive in half an hour, I said. Taking the moment to regroup, Lu Sisan reported the situation back to Saintus. Curious, I asked, how come these zombies can still use powers? Lu Sisan explained, they were probably awakened beings before they died. I nodded and said, such despicable tactics. Could it be Ju's family again? Mid-sentence, I suddenly thought of something and fell into thought. I just identified that these zombies belong to Holy Ancestor Village. Hearing my words, Saintus nodded in agreement. Although Zhu clan is cruel, taming beasts is a kind of faith to them, and they would disdain using such crooked methods as controlling zombies. Based on our initial judgment, this incident is likely related to Holy Ancestor Village, and your identification further proves this. Hearing the words Holy Ancestor Village, Lu Sisan's face suddenly changed dramatically. Does that mean it was that person causing trouble? From her expression, I could vaguely guess that the scar on her face might be related to that person she mentioned. However, she didn't elaborate further, and it wasn't appropriate for me to ask more. Just then, a foul, pungent fog slowly drifted over, and Lu Sisan quickly warned me, hold your breath, this gas is toxic. I sniffed and detected a sulfur-like smell of hydrogen sulfide. My brain quickly figured out a plan, and I urgently reminded Lu Sisan, quickly create a shield to protect yourself. Once she was protected, I immediately activated the Fire Eater ability. The moment the flames touched the toxic gas, the gas ignited like fluff, evaporating instantly. I retracted the flames, and just as everything calmed down, the second wave of the zombie tide arrived. Countless zombies emerged from the fog. Leading them was a large, burly red zombie with a green-robed old man sitting on its head. Seeing this, I immediately attempted to identify the old man, but after dozens of tries, I still couldn't succeed. The old man controlled the zombie, stopping at a distance from us, no longer advancing. He stroked his beard, chuckling, to have neutralized my zombie poison. These two youngsters seemed quite promising. Due to the distance, I couldn't hear his words, and continued to use the appraisal spell. However, like my previous attempts to identify Luo Xiu, the identification failed. Is it because my proficiency isn't enough, so I can't identify high-level targets from afar? I thought to myself. With that, I decided to identify all the zombies within sight at once. As soon as I finished speaking, the system rang out with numerous successful identification sounds, and information began appearing above the zombies' heads. Identification successful, 16,888 times. Appraisal spell significantly improved. Upgraded to appraisal spell, advanced. The distance and success rate for identifying targets above level 30 are greatly enhanced. Another identification message came through. Identification successful. Name, Zhuxiangming. Species, zombie, fallen. Faction, Holy Ancestor Village. Rank, Apex level Awakener, level 39. Abilities, Zombie Toxin. Can generate zombie toxin. Anyone transformed into a zombie by this toxin is under the controller's command. command. Zombies can use abilities from their previous life, and they share a life pool. If all zombies are not killed, the controller cannot be killed. While I was reviewing Zhu Xiangming's information, he waved his hand, summoning a zombie wielding a giant axe, and sneered, "Although I'd love to take action personally, I have more important matters to attend to right now. Bring them back to me, dead or alive." On the other side, I shared the identified information with Lu Sisan. I informed Sister C about the information and asked her what Fallen One meant. Sister C, shocked by the news, explained, "An awakened being's powers slowly evolve according to their usage habits, eventually morphing into the form best suited for them. However, if an awakener's mental strength is not strong enough, they can be devoured by their own power and ultimately become a slave to their abilities, which we call Fallen Ones. Fallen Ones are generally very powerful." As she was explaining, some of the zombies had already approached us, and we re-entered battle. I was responsible for dealing with the lower-level zombie troops, while Sister C faced off against the zombie wielding the giant axe. They were evenly matched, and neither could overcome the other for the time being. During a lull in the fight, Sister C quickly reported to headquarters. "A Fallen One has appeared, riding a giant zombie. I am unable to intercept him alone. This person is leading a large number of zombies towards the north of the city. Level 39, extremely dangerous." I quickly identified the zombie in front of me, level 29. I attempted to control it with Nether Mist, but due to the significant difference in strength, it broke free from the Nether Mist chains in just a moment. No way, this zombie is not on the same level as those underlings. Sister C and I struggled against this zombie, unable to break free and stop the advancing hordes of zombies and mutated beasts. Soon, their vanguard had arrived at the northern gate of Pearl City, just as Pearl City was about to fall. Fortunately, the warriors who received the message quickly formed a defensive line. The leader of the warriors, named Feng Lysian, head of the Beast King Martial Arts School, shouted to boost morale, addressing his comrades, "Today, no one shall pass. Let's do this together. We must not let these beasts get even half a step closer to the city." As soon as he spoke, his companions sprang into action, engaging the mutated beasts and zombies in fierce battle. Feng Lysian then faced off against a special zombie. He had noticed early on that this zombie moved differently from the others. Feng Lysian said, "Your movements are different from other zombies." However, the zombie did not respond but instead launched an even fiercer attack. After a brief exchange, Feng Lysian recognized its technique. "This is the Ape King style of the Beast King martial arts. Who are you?" "Exactly." The zombie smiled stiffly, suddenly increasing its speed, its hands tearing through the air, attacking Feng Lysian with a howling sound. Feng Lysian quickly dodged the attack, counterattacking with a move called Beast King First, touties his cauldron lift style, grabbing the zombie's shoulders, leveraging his feet, and hurling it into the air before slamming it down to the ground. Feng Lysian's awakened talent was the Crimson Emperor's Undying Body Hyper-Regeneration, which not only gave him super-fast regeneration abilities but also increased his healing speed the more severe his injuries. He could also accelerate his heartbeat to activate Crimson Emperor's blood flame, bursting forth terrifying high temperatures and enhancing his physical abilities all around. After defeating the zombie, Feng Lysian noticed a token had fallen from the zombie's body. "This token looks familiar." Curiously, Feng Lysian picked up the token and his pupils shrank instantly. The token bore the name Lin Bencher. "This is Elder Brother's token. Someone who uses Beast King martial arts and carries Elder Brother's token. Could it be Lin Bencher, Elder Brother, who disappeared 30 years ago? You went out of the city to investigate the disappearance of Awakened and mysteriously vanished yourself, only to end up as a zombie in such a tragic state." Seeing what had become of his once respected elder brother, Feng Lysian felt an inevitable surge of melancholy. He remembered how, 30 years ago when he first joined the martial arts school, he was looked down upon by his peers due to his mediocre talent, but elder brother Lin Bencher never gave up on him. After every class, elder brother would teach him privately, providing endless help and encouragement. Elder brother once said, "The Ape King style is about variability and unpredictability. Although others don't think highly of you, you are actually improving fast. Let's practice a little longer, and once you've mastered it, you can really show them." With these memories, tears slipped from Feng Lysian's eyes. He clenched his fists, a fire of rage burning in his heart. To disgrace the Beast King martial arts, to disgrace elder brother, no matter who the culprit is, I will find him and avenge you. As the leader of the Zombie Legion, an apex-level awakener, Zhu Xiangming proclaimed his intent to turn Pearl City's top forces into living puppets. Just now, Feng Lysian discovered that his older brother had been transformed into a living puppet, and he immediately took serious action. At this moment, the sun emblem on his back erupted with an overwhelming aura. As the second form of the Crimson Emperor's Undying Body, Crimson Blood Ignition activated. Flames blazed all around him, turning his pupils and hair a striking red. In his Crimson Blood Ignition state, Feng Lysian's body temperature instantly rose to 500 degrees, and he gained a massive boost in all attributes. To avoid injuring his allies, Feng Lysian immediately shouted, "Everyone else, back off. Don't get hurt by me." The next moment, Feng Lysian let out a terrifying roar, moved his foot, and vanished from the spot in an instant. A streak streak of fire passed by, and Feng Lixian had already reached Lin Bencher, moving too fast for any reaction. In an instant, Feng Lixian's eyes emitted dazzling red light, and with a punch, a terrifying red flame exploded, forming rolling waves of fire that struck Lin Bencher. The force of this punch was immensely fearsome, and even the living puppet body of Lin Bencher could not withstand Feng Lixian's rage. Feng Lixian continued to punch after punch, furiously hitting Lin Bencher. As he fought, tears of pain flowed down his cheeks, pained by the reunion with his once mentor and friend in such a form. Feng Lixian roared loudly, his body's muscles coiling like a dragon. This punch was far more powerful than the previous ones, instantly engulfing Lin Bencher in a terrifying wave of flames, burning even the zombies behind him to ashes. The flame wave burned for several minutes before slowly fading. Under the impact of this punch, there were no living puppets left nearby. In the center of the flame wave, Lin Bencher, despite instinctively trying to block, was utterly ineffective. The temperature, reaching thousands of degrees, was enough to incinerate everything. In his last moments, Lin Bencher suddenly voiced his admiration. "You have grown stronger." As soon as he spoke, Lin Bencher collapsed to the ground, motionless. Even as a living puppet, he could not survive the punch. Feng Lixian then suddenly turned around, his expression complex, and said, "Rest in peace, elder brother." At that moment, a chilling laughter emerged from the horde of corpses. "To think you could damage my proudest creation to such an extent. I shall use you to fill his place." Feng Lixian immediately felt his hairs stand on end as a formidable presence swept over him. He quickly turned and yelled, "Who is it?" Then Feng Lixian's face changed dramatically. His eyes firmly locked on the figure who had just spoken. The next second, Feng Lixian's eyes glowed red, and red flames rapidly spread over his body. He suddenly looked up and roared, "It was you who turned my brother into a living puppet." Above the tall, burly living puppet with red skin, the one who had been sitting there, Swiss Xiangming, slowly stood up. Squinting his murky eyes, he smirked, "Yes, it was me. What can you ants do to stop my army?" As he spoke, the overwhelming horde of zombies roared with a deafening sound. A dark mass covered the sky, shattering the brief respite the Awakeners had gained, bringing forth a great challenge. They're making their move. Finally, Holy Ancestor Village is starting their plan to seize Pearl City. Not long ago, after the failed plan by the Zhu clan remnants at Han High School to kidnap the Saintus, the Purge squad started investigating the Zhu clan. However, the Zhu clan's plan to create chaos in the blacksmith shop succeeded, leading to the Princess Luo Xiu's actions in the city seeking Zhang Ping. However, the Zhu clan's plan to introduce mutated beasts into the city lord's mansion also failed, with the horde of corpses intercepting the beasts. Zhu Ziming's attempt to kidnap the Saintus in the city lord's mansion also failed. A large number of natural order foxes were gathered inside the mansion, and the Purge squad headquarters also uncovered the Zhu clan's intentions, first to bring in the natural order foxes and then use the Saintus to control them, aiming to rule over Pearl City. After a thorough investigation by the Purge squad, it was found that the horde of corpses was related to Holy Ancestor Village. However, the Purge squad successfully restarted the Sky Curtain, sending out intelligence and gathering the city's forces. The horde of corpses first reached the north gate of Pearl City and began moving to the west and east gates. Due to the mountains blocking the south gate, there was no immediate threat of invasion. Currently, the north gate had successfully gathered the Beast King School and the Awakeners, temporarily holding off the horde's assault. At the same time, Holy Ancestor Village also initiated action. Under the leadership of the Saintus sect's leader, a group of Awakeners began to depart from Holy Ancestor Village. After the Awakeners gathered, Yu Chenghai knelt and reported, "Everyone has arrived." Hearing this, the leader immediately turned around and issued an order. "All members, listen to the command. This operation involves coordinating with the low-level zombie horde to disrupt the order within the city. You may take the opportunity to plunder some resources and preach, but once the Zhaosher brothers successfully extract the Saintus, withdraw immediately without delay." As soon as the leader finished speaking, the Awakeners quickly began to act, executing the leader's command. However, Yu Chenghai felt some doubts about this operation. "Leader, I have a few questions. The king-class mutated beast in the city, won't it become an unstable factor? Also, since we are launching a war, why do we need to withdraw after retrieving the Saintus?" The leader responded with a smile. "You mean that old fox? It has already awakened and is just waiting for Shirbai to reveal himself." Yu Chenghai, well aware of the terror of a king-class mutated beast, became somewhat panicked. "Then isn't our attack now very dangerous?" Without full confidence, why would the leader act so rashly? The leader smiled again. "Don't worry. Although the Saintus has not fully awakened, her influence is so strong that even a king-class mutated beast cannot easily break it. There will be no danger before we take her away. The natural order fox would not act rashly. Moreover, to take down Pearl City, apart from the fox, the biggest threats to us are only the Purge squad led by Sidu Shirbai and their troops. Thus, I have already arranged for a mole to open the city gates to create enough chaos inside. First, we launch the war using the Saintus as a cover, allowing the zombies to enter the city. The Purge squad has no choice but to use the Sun and Moon Pearls to thoroughly address this large-scale invasion. Once Sidu Shirbai uses the Sun and Moon Pearls to cleanse the city, city. All low-level mutated beasts and zombies will expose themselves along with the Purge squad. As for why we retreat without the Saintus to restrain the Fox, and with the Purge squad exposed, after the Fox and the Purge squad both suffer heavy losses, we can then attack Pearl City easily, can't we? Although this plan sounds almost foolproof, Yu Chenghai still had some concerns. But according to our scouts, the Zhu clan seems to be coveting the power of the Saintus. Could they impact the operation? The leader dismissively said, I have already sensed it. The Saintus is currently in a state of confused thinking. Under such circumstances, the Zhu clan cannot possibly convince her to work for them. The reason I sent the Zhaosher brothers to fetch the Saintus is that they have the blood of saints flowing in them. They can communicate directly with the Saintus through a shared sensation. Moreover, perhaps to deceive others, the top level of the Zhu clan did not directly participate in this event. If the few Zhu clan members inside the city try to forcibly take the Saintus away, it would not be a match for the Zhaosher brothers. Then, the leader looked towards the long-lost Pearl City, and after a long pause finally said, we should also set off now. Meanwhile, Zhang Ping was still desperately trying to stop the horde of zombies. Although Zhang Ping and Lu Sisan were frantically harvesting those low-level zombies, the number of the horde reached as many as 50,000, and they were simply unkillable. The more Zhang Ping fought, the uglier his expression became. There are too many. This is endless. Just then, a figure suddenly flashed past his side without launching an attack. Zhang Ping quickly turned around to look behind him and hurriedly shouted, Lu Sisan. A zombie wielding a huge axe swung the axe down fiercely, aiming at Lu Sisan, who was intently fighting the horde in front of him. Hearing Zhang Ping's warning, Lu Sisan immediately turned to look behind, but it was already too late. The zombie's axe had already chopped down. However, Lu Sisan reacted quickly, grabbing an ice sword in the critical moment to block the axe. Unfortunately, the zombie's strength was immense, causing Lu Sisan's ice sword to start cracking, followed by a crack as the ice sword shattered, and Lu Sisan was sent flying by the force of the axe. Lu Sisan was knocked several meters away, and Zhang Ping immediately turned to offer support, but the zombie had already leapt up, aiming the battle axe at the fallen Lu Sisan again. Other zombies did not give Zhang Ping any chance to help, as they surrounded and tangled him up. Moreover, his Nether Mist reserves were depleted, leaving him without his last means of rescue. With no one to stop it, the zombie let out a loud roar and leapt towards Lu Sisan. At this point, Lu Sisan, both physically and energetically drained, was unable to respond. Seeing this, Zhang Ping's face changed drastically, and he couldn't help but roar out, Lu Sisan. In the next second, a blade's edge swept through the air, followed by a thud as the zombie's axe came down. But suddenly, a shield appeared in front of Lu Sisan, firmly blocking the strike. A fat man clad in armor, holding the shield, let out a chuckle. Bramp's shield isn't just for show. Taking advantage of this moment, Lu Sisan quickly unleashed water elements, looking at the somewhat familiar figure in surprise and asked, Are you Zhang Shouzhong? Meanwhile, several sharp swords suddenly shot out from midair, targeting the zombie on the ground. Seeing the zombie knock, Zhang Ping's pupils shrank. Phantom swords? Are they allies? No one responded to Zhang Ping's question, but the rain of phantom swords continued, quickly suppressing the horde of zombies. Then, a young girl in red rushed out, engaging the zombies in close combat with extremely sharp leg techniques. After dealing with the zombies in front of her, Chen Shuijia shouted, Sorry, we are late. At the same time, several phantom swords burst through the air, targeting the zombie wielding the huge axe at high speed. However, these phantom swords missed their target, striking the ground right in front of Zhang Shouzhong. Despite this, the energy fluctuations caused by the phantom swords landing managed to force the huge axe-wielding zombie back several steps. Qinming slowly walked out, smiling lightly in surprise. Has your swordsmanship become rusty? With Qinming's powerful output, they quickly suppressed the green-skinned zombie. However, it seemed immune to physical attacks, and the phantom swords did not cause it any substantial damage. Just as everyone was at a loss, Zhang Ping stepped forward, indicating that he might know how to defeat it. He then picked up a dagger and gestured to Qinming. Please help me hold it off. As soon as he finished speaking, Qinming charged forward with a flash, his sword flashing as several phantom swords shot out again, turning the green-skinned zombie into a target. It withstood the attacks of the phantom swords and continued to advance. The green-skinned zombie swiftly struck, swinging its axe down quickly, but Qinming was prepared and met it with his sword, blocking the strike. Meanwhile, Zhang Ping had already circled behind the zombie. He had realized through appraisal spell that the zombies were controlled by zombie toxin, which could be ignited and exploded. If the zombie toxin inside the zombie could be ignited, it would completely sever the control. Zhang Ping acted swiftly, his red refined snake scale making a snap as it hit the zombie's back. Simultaneously, he used his last 10 points of Nether Mist reserve to conjure a giant hammer. Zhang Ping swung the hammer with all his might, hammering the red refined snake scale deep into the back of the green-skinned zombie. With the snake scale successfully hammered in, the next step was to detonate it. He decisively activated the Fire Devourer, enchanting the dagger with flaming wraps. In an instant, Zhang Ping's dagger blazed with fire, swiftly stabbing towards the location of the snake scale, hitting it precisely. The green-skinned zombie's actions were instantly disrupted, and before it could react, moment, its body burst open, with terrifying flames erupting from within. After the flames dissipated, the green-skinned zombie lay collapsed on the ground, with a horrific wound on its back still emitting thick smoke. Seeing this, Chinchuajia stretched lazily and said, "Finally dealt with. These guys are really troublesome." Zhang Ping, after absorbing the fire element, shook his head. The really troublesome guy has already arrived in Pearl City. Then, Zhang Ping said to Chen Ming, "House number 3 still has several wounded, and I have hidden their presence using an item, but I don't know how long it can last." Upon hearing this, Chen Ming nodded decisively and replied, "Captain Situ has already briefed us on the situation. We will take over caring for the wounded. We've just seen what you are capable of. The city needs you, and we will take good care of the wounded." After saying this, Chen Ming waved his hand and motioned for several teammates to head towards the location of the safe house. Seeing this, Zhang Ping quickly expressed his thanks. "And I'm grateful to you, Senior Chen Ming." Zhang Ping swiftly turned around and ran towards the direction of Pearl City. Seeing Zhang Ping hurry off like this, Lu Sisan and Chen Ming were stunned. Seeing how urgent Zhang Ping was, Chen Ming said to Lu Sisan, "You should go back to the city with him. We have enough people here." Lu Sisan certainly wouldn't feel at ease letting Zhang Ping face the horde alone. She immediately nodded in agreement. Lu Sisan quickly ran to catch up with Zhang Ping, returning together to support Pearl City. Meanwhile, at the northern gate of Pearl City, Feng Lysian, using the power of the Crimson Emperor's undying body alone, had single-handedly annihilated all the zombies approaching the city gate. Taking advantage of a lull in the horde, Feng Lysian quickly used the super regenerative ability of the Crimson Emperor's undying body to recover his strength. Seeing the master of the Beast King school regaining strength, the disciples immediately began to strike, halting the horde's advance. Baida directly used the shape-shifting wolf form from his shape-supplementing shape technique to buy time for Feng Lysian's recovery. However, while fighting the enemy, Baida suddenly felt his body wrapped in a strange energy and heard Feng Lysian instructing him to back off. Then, a swoosh sound came from midair. A huge fireball suddenly shot towards Baida's location, hurled by Feng Lysian himself. He keenly sensed the group of corpse poison targeting Baida and helped him narrowly avoid danger with pinpoint accuracy. Then, Feng Lysian instantly teleported behind Baida, sternly shouting, "Is that all you've got? Bring out whatever tricks you have." Seeing this, Sui Xiangming immediately expressed his annoyance. Originally, this poison was the most efficient in making zombies, but why do I always encounter fire-type awakeners lately? You really underestimate me. As soon as he finished speaking, Feng Lysian stepped forward with 8 steps, teleported in front of Sui Xiangming, and hurled a punch while coldly saying, "You'll pay for what you did to my brother." This punch solidly hit Sui Xiangming, the powerful impact sending him flying. The enraged Feng Lysian was not planning to let him off easily, furiously igniting the flames inside him while roaring, "It's not over yet." Just then, the slim-bodied Sui Xiangming suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, the violent flames continuously ravaging his body. Feng Lysian's momentum crazily escalated, and the terrifying red flames attached to his fists exploded directly on Sui Xiangming's body. Immediately after, a loud noise ensued, and the punch blasted through Sui Xiangming's wound, with the scattered blood even emitting a terrifying heat. This punch was delivered with all of Feng Lysian's strength. Sui Xiangming collapsed and obviously had no signs of life. Seeing this, Feng Lysian snorted coldly, "Capture the king first, and the zombies should be resolved now." However, what shocked Feng Lysian was that the surrounding zombies did not stop and continued to attack the city gate. He looked at the unceasing wave of zombies, his expression becoming serious. Feng Lysian suddenly felt puzzled. What's going on? The zombies can still move? Just as Feng Lysian was bewildered, Sui Xiangming, who had used the zombie toxin for a corpse reanimating technique, suddenly got up and landed a punch in his abdomen while coldly laughing. "You didn't really think that would kill me, did you?" Sui Xiangming had revived himself using a technique that sacrificed the lives of controlled zombies, taking the opportunity to strike a heavy blow to Feng Lysian's abdomen and then quickly retreating to create distance. Feng Lysian felt a sudden severe pain in his abdomen, as if something was sprouting inside him. Touching the wound where Sui Xiangming had sneak attacked him, his face slightly changed. "What have you done?" Sui Xiangming's eyes emitted a faint green light, proudly saying, "Noticed so soon? I have directly injected the corpse poison into your body. Once it spreads throughout, you will become one of my zombies." Feng Lysian quickly burned his wound with flames, attempting to stop the toxin's spread. At that moment, he finally understood that zombies are made from living people, not by reviving the dead. This realization sent Feng Lysian into a complete rage, and the aura inside him surged once again. With a loud shout, Feng Lysian activated the second stage of the Crimson Emperor's undying body, the blazing aura form. Terrifying crimson flames exploded over his body, instantly covering him completely. His body temperature also instantly soared to 1,000 degrees. All his attributes received a boost once again. Seeing this, Sui Xiangming squinted his eyes and said in a sharp, mocking tone, "You think burning yourself can neutralize the corpse poison? Don't waste your effort. The only kind of corpse poison that can be ignited is the most basic kind. The corpse poison I use to control the zombies is not limited to just this one." No sooner had he finished speaking speaking, then the elite zombies that had been knocked down suddenly erupted with roars and stood up again. As the zombies surrounded Feng Lysian, Zhuo Xiangming laughed again. The strong zombies have been blessed by me with multiple types of corpse poisons. As long as the poisons are not destroyed, the zombies will not die. How much longer can you hold out? Meanwhile, near safe house number 3, after Zhang Ping left, the zombies that had been knocked down also got up. Feng Lysian was surprised to find that even his own elder brother, whom he had personally knocked down, had recovered and was now attacking him. Attacks from several zombies all landed on Feng Lysian, who immediately roared, "Even elder brother, I will not forgive you." Hearing this, Zhuo Xiangming, controlling the zombies, let out a cold laugh. "It seems you still don't understand the situation. Since you miss your brother so much, why not just join him?" Just as he finished speaking, a large, red-bodied, gigantic zombie suddenly charged out and swung down a punch. Knowing he was infected with zombie toxin, Feng Lysian knew he needed to resolve the fight quickly. He immediately turned around and met the punch head-on. A loud boom erupted as the two fists collided, creating a powerful blast of air that sent several nearby zombies flying. Although the red zombie had once been an awakener immune to blades and immensely strong, it was still sent flying by Feng Lysian's punch. But the next second, Feng Lysian felt a sharp pain in his arm, making him gasp for breath. He looked down at his hand, which was already being invaded by the zombie toxin, and felt a sinking feeling. The zombie toxin is spreading so fast. As Feng Lysian was stunned, the zombie he had knocked away flew back at him, giving him no chance to catch his breath. Feng Lysian fought with increasing dread. "I don't have enough energy to activate the final form of the Crimson Emperor's undying body yet. At this rate, I too will become a zombie. If I fall, the North Gate will be completely overrun. Could it be that heaven wants to destroy Pearl City?" Just then, amidst the horde, a series of shouts could be heard. It was Zhang Ping and Lu Sisan, directly startling the horde of intensely fighting zombies. Based on information from the barrier team, they learned that the master of the Beast King School was trapped and immediately rushed to help. To quickly assist Feng Lysian out of his predicament, Zhang Ping and Lu Sisan decisively attacked, quickly clearing the surrounding zombies. Seeing Feng Lysian, whose body was being eroded by the zombie toxin, Zhang Ping couldn't help but be shocked. "Who is that?" Seeing Feng Lysian's aura weakening, Lu Sisan quickly sped up her actions, shouting at the same time, "Hold on." No sooner had she spoken than several water arrows shot out, directly targeting the zombies. The water arrows interrupted the actions of two zombies attacking Feng Lysian. Seeing an opening, Feng Lysian immediately gathered energy, gritted his teeth, and unleashed a powerful punch. He roared, "Beast King Fist, adamantine body." Suddenly, his muscles coiled like a dragon, and he seemed to transform into a peerless, fierce beast. As his fist swung out, flames accompanied by a sweeping airflow engulfed the nearby zombies. However, after this punch, Feng Lysian's aura weakened even further. When he landed next to Zhang Ping, he couldn't help but cough up a mouthful of blood and weakly said, "Young man, go back. It's too dangerous here." But Zhang Ping firmly refused. "Senior, don't worry. I came prepared. I'm here to heal you." Without waiting for Feng Lysian to respond, Zhang Ping activated his pure blood talent, infusing his blood energy into Feng Lysian's body. Seeing the incredulous look on Feng Lysian's face, Zhang Ping quickly reassured him, "Don't worry, this is my healing method." The next moment, Feng Lysian clearly felt the toxins inside his body being suppressed and couldn't help but exclaim, "This method is really strange. Not only are my external injuries healed, but my strength has also returned. Young man, you really have a knack." However, Zhang Ping spoke with a serious expression. "Unfortunately, I can't remove the poison from your body. I can only suppress the spread of the toxins." Upon hearing this, Feng Lysian immediately clenched his fist excitedly, and the robust fire element burst out from within him again. Feng Lysian suddenly turned around, chuckling, "Young man, if you can suppress the zombie toxin, that's enough for me. Give me a little more time. I'm going to deal with this inhuman creature." Feng Lysian's aura surged again, and as a top-tier awakener, he unleashed terrifying power. His talent, the Crimson Emperor's undying body, increased his healing speed by 200% and allowed him to control an accelerated heartbeat, entering the Sunfire form, enhancing his strength and physical fitness tenfold. When his body temperature reached its limit, he could even enter the higher state of the Sunfire form True Fire, curing all abnormal statuses. Hearing this, Zhang Ping was startled. "You speak so lightly, but the opponent is a fallen one." He couldn't help but think, "Let's see the master's strength first." Seeing Feng Lysian still struggling, Zhuo Xiangming immediately manipulated the horde to surround him, emitting bursts of chilling laughter. "Just become my zombie." As soon as Zhuo Xiangming finished speaking, Feng Lysian's eyes blazed with red light, and he roared upwards as his back suddenly ignited, with crimson flames rapidly spreading across his body. His body temperature instantly soared to 3,000 degrees, boosting all his attributes again. Feng Lysian stamped his foot, and the ground immediately cracked and collapsed, exploding violently as he sprinted. He turned into a streak of firelight, sending all the zombies in his path flying. In an instant, Feng Lysian, with fists as large as sandbags, charged up to Zhuo Xiangming. His speed was so fast that even Zhuo Xiangming was startled. Boom! The scorching heavy punch smashed into Zhuo Xiangming, causing terrifying terrifying flames to burst forth again. However, seeing this, Zhang Ping quickly cautioned, "I've identified that this guy's life is bound to the nearby zombies. To completely resolve him, you need to clear out the surrounding zombies as well." As soon as he finished speaking, Zhou Xiangming suddenly slid to the side, grabbing Feng Lixian's arm and letting out a cold laugh. "You can't kill me." The surrounding horde immediately sprang into action, swiftly surrounding Feng Lixian. Seeing this, Feng Lixian decisively shouted, his internal flames erupting again, effortlessly annihilating a zombie. His body temperature had now risen to 4,000 degrees. Facing the assault of the horde, Feng Lixian was not panicked. He twisted his waist, ready to meet the upcoming challenge. He clenched his fists and hurled a punch, sweeping out flames with the airflow sweeping around him. Then, Feng Lixian paused his actions, looked up at the sun in the sky, and said in a deep voice, "My current body temperature is still not enough to activate the Sunfire form True Fire. Young man, do you have a way to quickly increase my body temperature?" Zhang Ping, hearing this, felt a bit of a headache. "My own flames aren't even close to your high temperature, but this thing might help." As soon as he finished speaking, an arm formed from blood energy suddenly extended from Feng Lixian's back, holding several crimson scales, and handed them to him. After receiving the red refined snake scales from Zhang Ping's hand, Feng Lixian said irritably, "With such good items, why didn't you bring them out earlier? All that effort for nothing." Without wasting more words, he grabbed a few scales and swallowed them directly. The surrounding zombies, seeing Feng Lixian standing still, immediately pounced again. However, the next second, the crimson sunfire form True Fire burst forth from within Feng Lixian, the terrifying 6,000-degree flames instantly turning the approaching zombies to ash. Seeing this, Lu Sisan was startled. "What happened over there?" Baida immediately recognized the sunfire form True Fire, laughing, "I didn't expect to see the master use this form in my lifetime." A smile appeared on his lips. It looks like the battle is about to end. At this moment, Feng Lixian had entered the sunfire form of the Crimson Emperor's undying body, with a body temperature of 6,000 degrees, all toxins cured. Zhang Ping, being in the midst of this, exclaimed in awe, "This form, so domineering. This temperature, even my fire devourer is somewhat unable to withstand it." Zhang Ping remarked. After glancing at Zhou Xiangming, Feng Lixian said solemnly, "Young man, this final form puts a great strain on my body. Please continue to heal me." Then, without looking back, he said to the awakeners around him, "All of you back off. Don't get hurt by my flames." Baida, well aware of the terror of the sunfire form True Fire, immediately exited his running wolf form and urged, "Everyone heard that. Head back to the city." Seeing that the corpse poison he had left in Feng Lixian's body had lost connection, Zhou Xiangming's face suddenly changed. "How is this possible? My corpse poison has been cleared." Completely panicked, Zhou Xiangming shouted loudly, "All troops, take him down." As soon as he finished speaking, the surrounding horde immediately charged, massively surrounding Feng Lixian. Feng Lixian then took a deep breath and exhaled, releasing a blazing white blast of sunfire form True Fire, known as the Primordial Chaos Unification in the Beast King's secret techniques. Feng Lixian twisted his waist and swung his tail, flames sweeping across the area with the air currents. The zombies at the forefront bore the brunt of it and were instantly turned to ash. The combination of Chaos Breath and Sunfire form True Fire, with its terrifying 6,000 degrees, was too much for these zombies to withstand in a single encounter. In just half a minute, 20,000 zombies were burned to dust, leaving the crowded city gate suddenly spacious. Seeing this, Lu Sisan marveled quietly. "What a terrifying power. His strength ranks among the top 3 of all the people I know." Just then, a disciple suddenly rushed out from the city in a panic, shouting, "The masters of the other 2 martial arts schools have betrayed us. The west and east gates have fallen." Upon hearing this, Feng Lixian was visibly shocked, his face showing disbelief. "What did you say? How could Ao Donghai and Wu Ruoyu possibly betray us?" Just then, the ground began to tremble, and zombies crawled out again, accompanied by Zhou Xiangming's laughter. "Since Pearl City has already fallen, there's no need for me to waste more time with you. I'll grudgingly admit you won this round, but I'll reserve a spot for you. I hope when we meet again, you can still display such a magnificent and unrivaled presence." Seeing Zhou Xiangming casually preparing to leave, Feng Lixian was immediately enraged, grinding his teeth and roaring, "Next time, I'll definitely kill you." Then, Feng Lixian ordered the disciples behind him, "I'm enough here by myself. All of you quickly return to the city to assist." He then signaled to Zhang Ping, "Young man, the zombie toxin on me has been completely cleared by the sunfire form True Fire. You can go back too." However, Zhang Ping spoke somewhat awkwardly, "If I come out now, won't I be vaporized by your flames?" At that moment, the situation in Pearl City had become even more critical due to the betrayal of the masters guarding the west and east gates. A massive invasion of mutated beasts had occurred, leaving the city's residents unable to organize an effective defense. Zhu Ziming, watching Pearl City gradually fall, let out a satisfied laugh. "Wail all you want. This is the scene Pearl City deserves without our Zhu clan." As soon as he finished speaking, 2 figures appeared behind him, the Zhu clan members responsible for controlling the mutated beasts. Without turning back, Zhu Ziming asked, "How's it going?" The leader, with white hair, immediately reported, "About a 1,000 mutated beasts have entered Pearl City and are under our control. Hearing this, Zhu Ziming laughed. Quickly get the mutated beasts to attack the city lord's mansion. However, faced with this command, Blue Hair immediately felt it was rash. Are you joking? Chin Junting is still in the city lord's mansion, and once the mutated beasts get close there, it will be influenced by the mother's blood in her body. Even the natural order fox has become her servant. How are we supposed to take her away? Zhu Ziming furrowed his brows, patiently explaining. What do you know? Chin Junting has not fully awakened yet. Her mind is like that of a baby right now. She will unconsciously control the mutated beasts around her. If a large number of mutated beasts approach, her abilities will overload and lose control. By then the city lord's mansion will inevitably fall into chaos, and we will have our chance to take her away. As Zhu Ziming anticipated, the city lord's mansion was already filled with many natural order foxes, and Princess Luo Xiu, influenced by Chin Junting's talent, was holding her in his arms, unable to stop himself from extending his long tongue, continuously licking her face. Chin Junting involuntarily frowned. Chin Junting subconsciously waved her hand to push away the tongue, muttering, "Widdies, stop licking." As the horde of mutated beasts approached, Chin Junting suddenly felt a discomfort around her eyes. When she opened her eyes, she found the scene before her had changed. Looking at the natural order foxes kneeling on the ground, Chin Junting couldn't help but softly ask, "Where did everyone go? Why are there so many widdies suddenly here?" At this moment, all the natural order foxes in her view had turned snowy white, and each appeared exceptionally well behaved. Chin Junting looked at the Princess Luo Xiu holding her in his hands. "You look so strange. What exactly are you?" Afterward, Chin Junting left the embrace of the Princess Luo Xiu, starting to talk to herself. "You too, so cute." Seeing this scene, Zhu Ziming, hiding in the shadows, spoke lowly. "Just as I expected, the close proximity of a large number of mutated beasts is starting to make her deranged." Chin Junting staggered toward a nearby balcony, and upon reaching the edge, she began talking to herself. Why are there so many widdies outside? The mutated beasts she saw had all transformed into clusters of light-emitting white radiance in her eyes. These dense clusters of light made her uncomfortable, causing severe pain that made her break out in cold sweat. It wasn't long before she couldn't take it anymore and softly exclaimed, "Too many widdies. Widdies, no more. Don't come anymore." As the horde of mutated beasts got closer, Chin Junting completely lost control. Her overloaded abilities caused her to emit a series of wails. Meanwhile, in the fallen Pearl City, 7-year-old little girl were desperately running for their lives. Despite her frantic efforts, the mutated giant wolf chasing her had already pounced toward her head. Just at this critical moment, a pair of large hands suddenly reached out, stopping the flying figure of the giant wolf, and it was Zhang Ping who acted. Lu Sisan also quickly scooped up the little girl, saving her life. At this moment, Zhang Ping was enraged, decisively activating his Fire Devourer talent, and shouted, "You beasts, can you stop running around everywhere?" As soon as he finished speaking, the skill Flames Wrapped was activated, and surging flames burst forth from Zhang Ping's hands, thoroughly roasting the giant wolf inside and out. The girl's mother also rushed over at this moment, anxiously calling out, "Nyonyo, Nyonyo, are you alright?" Seeing the mother and daughter reunited, Lu Sisan quickly spoke, "You better leave here fast." Zhang Ping, however, looked ahead with a somber face. "There's a densely populated area ahead. We can't let them go any further." Lu Sisan decisively took out a communicator and spoke, "Purge squad, establish a defensive perimeter immediately. Everyone else, organize the civilians for evacuation." The horde of mutated beasts advanced quickly, reaching them in no time. Lu Sisan showed a troubled expression, preparing for the imminent battle. "It's hard for me to stop so many mutated beasts without damaging the buildings." Lu Sisan frowned. Zhang Ping nodded helplessly. "Delay them as long as we can to give others time to evacuate." Just then, the horde of mutated beasts that was rushing toward the city lord's mansion suddenly stopped in their tracks. Then, the group of mutated beasts, as if controlled, began to emit strange roars toward the sky. Seeing the horde of mutated beasts inexplicably stop, Zhang Ping and Lu Sisan were immediately surprised. "What's going on with these mutated beasts? What's happening?" At the same time, the agonized Chin Junting suddenly floated into the air, emitting a strange wave of energy. Seeing this, Zhu Ziming was momentarily dumbfounded. What's going on? A troubling thought popped into his mind. Could it be that the mother's blood inside the Saintus has fully awakened? The next moment, Chin Junting's eyes, which had been tightly closed, slowly opened, and then she spread her arms, activating the aura of the mother's blood, unleashing a more majestic affinity force than before. The aura of the mother's blood had a vast range, rapidly spreading from the center of the city lord's mansion, instantly covering most of Pearl City. The two controlling the mutated beasts, Blue Hair, suddenly exclaimed, "The mutated beasts we controlled have all lost control." Hearing this, Zhu Ziming gritted his teeth and said, "Just my luck. That 1% chance actually happened." As he fumed, Chin Junting suddenly floated up and swiftly flew towards the position of the horde of mutated beasts. Seeing the Saintus about to leave, Zhu Ziming became utterly frantic and shouted loudly, "Quick, chase her." However, before Zhu Ziming could get far, he suddenly felt an overwhelming heaviness in his body as an invisible pressure descended upon upon him. His complexion instantly turned ugly. This pressure was terrifying. Not even the Princess Luo Xiu could create such an oppressive feeling. A dreadful thought quickly crossed Zhu Ziming's mind. Only a king-level mutated beast could make me feel this way. Could it be? Has the King Yu awakened? Unexpectedly, aside from Chin Junting, there was another bearer of the saint's blood. Feeling the pressure from the King Yu, Zhu Ziming's expression darkened instantly. Could it be Chin Junting caused the King Yu to awaken prematurely? If that's the case, just then, two from the Zhu clan suddenly rushed to Zhu Ziming's side, interrupting his thoughts. What are you doing here? Zhu Ziming, remaining motionless, coolly ordered, contact the others infiltrated in Pearl City. Gather together to capture Chin Junting. I have some matters to attend to. He knew that the awakening of the King Yu meant that the natural order fox side now had king-level combat capabilities. Exposing himself now was undoubtedly suicidal, as the terror of a king-level mutated beast was not something an ordinary awakener could contend with. Rather than rushing to his death now, it was wiser to stay and watch the developments. This was the safest course of action. Meanwhile, Pearl City had already become a ruin due to the invasion of the horde of mutated beasts and zombies. To quickly deal with the zombies at the south gate, Bida decisively ordered everyone split into groups of 3 and methodically eliminate the remaining zombies. Bida turned to Feng Lysian with concern. Master, how are you feeling? Having returned to normal, Feng Lysian nodded. I'm fine. Most of my injuries were already healed by Zhang Ping earlier. I'm just a bit tired. A rest will do. The enraged Bida suddenly punched a nearby wall. Thinking of the lost city gates, he immediately gritted his teeth and said, those traitorous dogs, they're worse than beasts. Feng Lysian patted his shoulder, sighing. What's done is done. We just need to quickly clear the zombies at the southern gate and then return to assist the city. Looking at the ongoing roars and screams from within the city, Feng Lysian suddenly felt a sense of helplessness. Looking at the situation now, we can only save as many as we can. Just then, a disciple from the Beast King School suddenly exclaimed, a team of awakeners is coming from the north. Could it be reinforcements? Feng Lysian and Bida's hearts leapt at the sound. The west gate had just been lost, and the newcomers were indeed wearing martial arts school uniforms from the Blazing Sun Martial School. The Master Wu Ruoyu, upon spotting the people from the Beast King School, immediately shouted, hold these people back. Don't let a single one into the city. The Blazing Sun Martial School was a team composed of awakeners. Under the Master Wu Ruoyu's commanding shout, they charged menacingly towards the south wall. Seeing Wu Ruoyu, Feng Lysian immediately clenched his teeth and said, you still have the nerve to show up. Feng Lysian waved his hand grandly and commanded, everyone prepare for battle. The Blazing Sun Martial School abandoned the west gate, leading to the fall of Pearl City. The two groups faced each other across 20 meters of open ground, ready to engage in combat. Neither side initiated the fight immediately, instead facing off. Feng Lysian stared fixedly at Wu Ruoyu and asked slowly and deliberately, Master Wu, why did you betray Pearl City? Wu Ruoyu let out a cold laugh and suddenly countered, Master Feng, have you ever thought about changing your way of life? Feng Lysian was momentarily puzzled. What kind of way of life? Wu Ruoyu turned his head to look at the lights of the residential area behind him and sighed. Look at Pearl City, with its thousands of households, bright yet fragile. Every year, over 200 people die from attacks by mutated beasts. It seems we can only hold on to this small piece of land. Have you ever thought, what would it be like if we could do everything possible to produce a king among humans? If a king were born in Holy Ancestor Village, not just this little Pearl City, but everyone, everywhere could live without fear of mutated beasts, able to stop wherever they wish. Upon hearing this, Feng Lysian burst out laughing. So it was like this. The student who propagated the supremacy of the human king theory in my school was your man? Wu Ruoyu openly spread his arms and nodded in acknowledgement. It's a pity you expelled him, otherwise you could have been one of us. Feng Lysian immediately stopped smiling, his eyes blazing with anger as he roared at Wu Ruoyu, become one of you, and then sacrifice the entire Pearl City? Wu Ruoyu still tried to persuade Feng Lysian. After a sigh, Wu Ruoyu spoke again. This time, we only intended to take away a key person who could give birth to a king in Holy Ancestor Village, not to destroy Pearl City. If you could just stay put and not interfere, I wouldn't need to fight you. However, it was clear that the people from the Beast King School were not about to let these traitors off easily. Feng Lysian scoffed, and if I don't agree? No sooner had he spoken than Wu Ruoyu moved swiftly, charging forward as he bellowed, if talking won't help, let's see the truth in combat. The people from the Beast King School, fearless even after a fierce battle, charged forward as well. At the same time, in the wooded area of City North Park, the army of mutated beasts stopped in their tracks and began howling at the sky after Chin Junting awoke. Chin Junting, having left the city lord's mansion, quickly flew above the park. Staring at this bizarre scene, Zhang Ping was stunned. Is that Chin Junting? Did the mutated beasts stop because of her? To understand the reason, Zhang Ping did not hesitate to use his appraisal spell on Chin Junting. By this time, Chin Junting, no longer in pain and fully awakened, looked down at the mutated beasts below and laughed. So many witties. You are all so cute. Zhang Ping's appraisal spell completed successfully, and he was shocked to find that Chin Junting's abilities could pacify all mutated beasts, completely controlling them. After reading the information, Zhang Ping exclaimed in shock, she's become become a fallen one? Just then, two figures suddenly landed nearby. Seeing this, Lu Sisan quickly crouched down and warned, "Someone's coming." Blue Hair looked at the scene before him and immediately thought of retreating. "What do we do now? Shall we go back first?" But White Hair sharply retorted, "What nonsense are you talking about? Our mission is to bring this girl back to the Zhu clan at all costs." Blue Hair panicked at this. "Now Pearl City is full of zombies. Our mutated beasts are controlled by that little girl, and we've lost contact with the others. Just the two of us. There's no way we can complete the mission." White Hair cut him off. "No more talk. Even if it means death, we have to try." While the two were arguing, suddenly laughter emerged around them. "I never thought that the Zhu clan, who likes to operate in the shadows, would have someone as spirited as you. You have more backbone than those Zhu clan members we just encountered. So, I might consider turning you into a zombie to serve us." The newcomers were two men who looked very similar, their voices filled with a chilling tone. Beside each man stood a giant serpent and a fierce tiger. Zhang Ping immediately used his appraisal spell on them. The results showed: name, Zhao Yanlong, species, human, faction, holy ancestor village, potential, 5 stars, rank, high-level awakener, level 25, abilities, Saint's Blood, possesses a strong ability to enhance physical constitution, continuously improving bodily functions, advanced miasma of toxins, the potent toxin in his blood flows out with his sweat and is evaporated by body heat, forming a wide area poison fog domain. Animal companions, giant serpent and tiger serve them in battle. After reading the identification information, Zhang Ping felt a heavy sense of concern. The enemy before him was no ordinary opponent. He can command animals to fight for him, and his abilities are extremely dangerous. After reviewing the information, Zhang Ping warned, "I've identified them. They are from Holy Ancestor Village, and their abilities are similar to Chin Junting's." Hearing this, Lu Sisan decisively said, "Perhaps they are a key lead. Try to capture them alive to get information." The two enforcers from Holy Ancestor Village with the Saint's Blood talent declared their intent to turn the Zhu clan's remnants into zombies. When the two from the Zhu clan saw their interceptors, they froze. "Turn us into zombies? Could it be that the zombies outside the city are also your handiwork? What force are you exactly? And why are you sabotaging our plans?" Hidden in the shadows, Zhang Ping and Lu Sisan immediately took decisive action to conceal their presence, watching the fight unfold from a safe distance. The two from the Zhu clan, determined to take Chin Junting away quickly, did not hesitate to launch an attack first. However, they had only taken a few steps when they suddenly felt their bodies sink and their strength rapidly drained away. Seeing this, Zhao Yanlong immediately let out a cold laugh. "Such big talk. I thought you were something special." The two from the Zhu clan, unable to move, their faces immediately turned ugly. "What's happening? I'm paralyzed," Blue Hair exclaimed. Zhao Yanlong, not wanting to waste time, gestured for the two beasts to attack, while saying, "Don't bother struggling. The more you do, the quicker you'll die." Seeing a tiger and a snake swiftly attacking, White Hair quickly realized, "Watch out, it's the poison fog." As soon as he spoke, the two beasts had already opened their jaws wide and bit down ferociously. One of the Zhu clan members was killed instantly. Blue Hair, reacting in time, barely managed to activate his talent and block the attack. Though he was now restrained by the giant snake, he still desperately resisted. Seeing this, Zhao Yanlong approached step by step, speaking coldly, "You've got good skills, but you won't last long. I advise you to give up resisting and quietly become a zombie." As soon as he finished speaking, Blue Hair roared angrily, and his body suddenly erupted in a burst of light. Zhao Yanhu, maintaining the poison fog domain from a distance, saw this and immediately exclaimed, "Get out of the way." At that critical moment, the tiger that had quickly dealt with its opponent suddenly turned back, leaping in front of Zhao Yanlong. Then, a loud noise followed. Blue Hair detonated himself, and a massive wave of energy instantly swept through the area. The snake and tiger in the center of the explosion collapsed on the ground, severely wounded despite their strong vitality. Seeing this, Zhao Yanhu felt a surge of relief. "That was close. I nearly got caught there." Luckily, the mutated beasts took the hit, Zhao Yanlong said, still shaken. Floating in midair, Chin Junting, seeing the two weakened beasts, exclaimed in surprise, "You two witties, how did you get hurt?" She quickly descended from the air, and two streams of life-giving green light flowed from her hands, slowly covering the exteriors of the two beasts. Seeing this, Zhao Yanlong and Zhao Yanhu immediately bowed respectfully. "Greetings to the Saintus. We are here to welcome your return." However, Chin Junting continued treating the beasts, saying, "There's something dirty inside you. I'll help you get rid of it." As soon as she finished speaking, Zhao Yanlong suddenly felt his beast-taming abilities fail and exclaimed, "Wasn't it said that the Saintus hadn't awakened yet?" Chin Junting ignored the two men. Under the cover of the green light, two streaks of fresh red liquid gradually seeped out from inside the beasts. Zhao Yanlong and Zhao Yanhu completely panicked, hastily shouting, "Saintus, please stop. Forcibly removing the Saint's blood from the beasts' bodies will cause us backlash." However, unlike their agony, the beasts' expressions gradually relaxed as the Saint's blood was extracted. In just a moment, the two beasts, originally on the brink of death, immediately returned to normal, obediently coming to Chin Junting's side. Seeing this, Chin Junting showed a satisfied smile. "That's much cleaner now." The two beasts wrapped around Chin Junting, playfully nuzzling her, making her laugh. Do you think it's not nice here? Then let's go. We'll go somewhere else with the other witties, Chin Junting said as she left with the two beasts. Seeing this, Zhao Yanlong and Zhao Yanhu couldn't help but feel a headache. This suppression by the bloodline. Has the Saintus fully mastered the Saintus's blood? If so, we can't use the Saintus's intuition to lead her back to Holy Ancestor Village. There's no way to complete the mission now, Zhao Yanlong said with a grim expression. We have to go back and regroup with the master and make new plans. Upon hearing the word master, Lu Sisan immediately gritted her teeth. The master of Holy Ancestor Village? Could that person also be in Pearl City? Zhang Ping, sensing her particular concern, asked. It seems like you really care? Lu Sisan couldn't hold back her anger. Her name is Liao Xue. She was once the second city lord of Pearl City, now the most wanted criminal by the Purge squad. She killed my master, and the scar on my face was also caused by her. Liao Xue is very strong, almost on par with our captain. We must find out if this beast has also come to Pearl City. As Zhang Ping watched Chin Junting walk away, he analyzed calmly. We don't have the means to control Chin Junting now, but we can control these two. Chin Junting and the mutated beast horde have moved far away. Let's make our move. Remember to keep them alive. No sooner had he spoken than several ice spears shot out from the bushes where Lu Sisan was hiding with a swish. Zhao Yanlong quickly pushed Zhao Yanhu aside, reacting sharply. There are others hiding. He narrowly dodged the 3 ice spears aimed at him from ambush. However, Lu Sisan was prepared. She dashed to Zhao Yanlong's side in a single stride and pressed an ice sword against his neck. Although Zhao Yanhu was pushed away, he was also stunned and did not dare to make a move. Just as Zhao Yanhu was about to use his poison fog domain, Zhang Ping appeared instantly. A long whip formed from Nether Mist materializing and swiftly binding Zhao Yanhu, who had no time to react. With their successful capture, Zhang Ping let out a cold laugh. If you dare release the poison fog, I guarantee he will die very painfully. After successfully controlling the two, Lu Sisan eagerly asked, what is your purpose in Pearl City? Is Liao Xue also here? Where is she? Zhao Yanlong, though pressed by the ice sword, responded calmly, no comment. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Sisan swung her ice sword down fiercely, and Zhao Yanlong erupted in a scream like a slaughtered pig. Before Zhao Yanlong could recover, Zhang Ping walked behind him and coldly reminded, you might choose not to speak, but she will keep cutting, and I will ensure you don't die easily. After a severe interrogation, Zhao Yanlong finally showed a look of agony, unable to maintain his composure any longer. Lu Sisan quickly called headquarters. I've obtained important information here. Zhang Ping and I have captured 2 people from Holy Ancestor Village. According to them, one of Holy Ancestor Village's objectives this time was to take away Chin Junting, who carries the awakened Saintus's bloodline. Liao Xue is also in Pearl City. Upon hearing this, Sidu Shirbai's expression changed instantly. Upon hearing the name Liao Xue, he recalled past events and responded gravely, I understand. Continue to monitor the people from Holy Ancestor Village. The worst scenario has occurred. I'll take action myself. After hanging up, Sidu Shirbai turned and instructed, prepare the teleportation array. Manny, hearing this, was shocked. Are you really deciding to activate the Sun and Moon Pearl? The Sun and Moon Pearl is hidden in the city square, and activating it will expose you. The king of the natural order foxes has not yet appeared. It's too dangerous for you to expose yourself now. Situ Shirbai was aware of Manny's concerns, but the presence of Liao Xue in Pearl City forced him to take risks. I originally planned to lure out the king of the natural order foxes and have you hold him off, so there would be no obstacles while I activate the Sun and Moon Pearl. But now with Liao Xue appearing, she has introduced many variables. Situ Shirbai analyzed calmly. Now I must take a risk and activate the Sun and Moon Pearl before they realize it. This is the only way to save Pearl City now. We can't delay any longer. The Purge squad's strongest fighter, Situ Shirbai, was finally ready to take action himself. The Pearl City Memorial Monument Square, once a place of execution, is inscribed with the names of countless heroes who fought for Pearl City. This time, Situ Shirbai no longer planned to hide himself. He called out all the Purge squad's forces. Looking at the tumultuous Pearl City, he couldn't help but sigh. The whole city is in chaos. It's the changing of hearts that has created this overwhelming trend. I can stop the Zhu clan, I can block the beasts, but how do you stop a movement of hearts? As soon as he finished speaking, a white-haired woman slowly emerged from the square. Do you plan to rely on the Sun and Moon Pearl for one last effort? Liao Xue said coldly. Manny, seeing this, her face turned pale. How are you here? I had scanned the square and there was no one. Prepare for battle. Liao Xue, unconcerned, said to Sidu Shirbai, stop struggling. The moment you appeared here to deal with the zombie crisis, I had already won. Sidu Shirbai looked at this obsessed woman and sighed deeply. Why are you so obsessed with winning and losing? Have you ever considered that your so-called path of the human king violates the laws of the world? Forcing changes to the rules, the fluctuations will attract the kings of mutated beasts globally. Moreover, you failed to break through to king level. What then for humanity? Liao Xue, her brows furrowed, snapped back coldly. I will not fail. Sidu Shirbai's gaze became sharper, his anger rising. The moment you swung your blade at the innocent, the moment you collaborated with Sui Xiangming, you were already on a path of no return. When you resorted to unscrupulous methods, you had already lost. You are on a crooked path. not a royal one, Sidu Shirbai said angrily. However, Liao Xue was indifferent, instead displaying a disdainful smile. As the old saying goes, a general achieves renown over the dead bodies of thousands of soldiers. Moreover, the path I aim to walk is that of a king. How could it not involve bloodshed, whether by crooked means or righteous ones? In the end, only the victor stands as king. Seeing Liao Xue so deluded, Sidu Shirbai could no longer sit still, shouting angrily, "Your ambition is too great. You will kill more people, and even drag humanity into a catastrophe from which it cannot recover." Just then, zombies began to appear one after another, mixed with many awakeners. Liao Xue, undisturbed by Sidu Shirbai's scolding, responded lightly, "It seems today I still cannot convince you. Tonight, this place will become your grave, conveniently also the resting place of my master. It's fitting for you to die here. Tonight, no one will be able to activate the sun and moon pearl." Sidu Shirbai suddenly saw a familiar figure in the crowd, incredulously asking, "Yu Chenghai, you are the current city lord of Pearl City. How could you also?" Yu Chenghai responded with a helpless look, "Brother Shirbai, the natural order fox is too powerful. Sister Aoshue is right. Humanity needs a king. We should unite, not remain as divided as we are now." Sidu Shirbai looked at Yu Chenghai, his face filled with pain, firmly saying, "You are wrong. Liao Xue is not a wise ruler. She will not succeed," Sidu Shirbai stated firmly. Yu Chenghai responded with a bitter smile, "Perhaps, but Sister Aoshue is right. Some things must be started by someone, regardless of the outcome. I know I can't persuade you. Please, Brother Shirbai, go on your way." As soon as he finished speaking, the awakeners from Holy Ancestor Village, along with the zombies, launched a fierce attack. Sidu Shirbai looked around, seeing determination and strength in the eyes of these people, and could only sigh helplessly. "Then let's have it. This battle will decide the future of Pearl City." Chin Junting, located in the residential area park in City South wooded area, sensed the disturbance among the mutated beasts and asked in confusion, "What's happening over there? Why are you afraid?" At the same time, Zhang Ping and Lu Sisan also sensed the energy fluctuation and felt a tightening in their chests. In order to see what was going on, Chin Junting led the beast horde toward the square. Seeing Chin Junting and the mutated beasts being drawn to the scene, Lu Sisan frowned. This time, the captain is personally taking action. After notifying the branch to take the Zhaoshi brothers away, Lu Sisan quickly moved. "We need to hurry and meet up with the captain." By this time, the memorial square had already become a battlefield, with the Purge squad and the zombies locked in an intense fight, unable to determine a victor. Faced with Sidu Shirbai's attacks, Liao Xue's figure appeared elusive, the light always missing her by just a fraction. She sneered, "Is this all you've got?" Sidu Shirbai was unfazed by her taunt. His goal was merely to keep Liao Xue occupied. Suddenly, a golden barrier appeared, trapping Liao Xue inside. Without wasting any time, Sidu Shirbai summoned the sun and moon pearl and began charging it with energy. Seeing this, Liao Xue felt a pang of alarm, immediately realizing, "He's trying to trap me temporarily to buy time to charge the sun and moon pearl." Liao Xue knew that if the sun and moon pearl was fully activated, she would undoubtedly fail. She quickly signaled Yu Chenghai to destroy the sun and moon pearl. Understanding its importance, Yu Chenghai nodded and, with a swift step, charged towards Sidu Shirbai. However, Manny and her team swiftly intercepted him, shouting, "You won't get past, as long as we're still breathing." Seeing this, Yu Chenghai grabbed his staff and roared, "Then die." As soon as he spoke, his staff struck the ground, unleashing a terrifying force that cracked the earth. Manny's team, being primarily support awakeners with limited combat power, was sent flying back several meters. Thankfully, Zhang Ping and Lu Sisan arrived just in time. Lu Sisan quickly summoned water elements, forming an ice wall to block the path in front of Sidu Shirbai, while Zhang Ping sprinted forward, activating his Nether Mist as he charged toward Yu Chenghai. After blocking the attack, Lu Sisan asked, "Concerned, are you alright?" Manny shook her head and anxiously said, "I'm fine, but help quickly. Don't let them disrupt the captain." Lu Sisan quickly glanced at the captain and saw that Liao Xue had been trapped. Her expression suddenly changed. Then she noticed the surging shadows of beasts in the distance, confirming that Saintus Chin Junting had also arrived at the square. The moment Liao Xue saw Chin Junting, her pupils shrank. Chin Junting's arrival meant that the Zhaoshi brothers had failed. With one glance, she could tell that Chin Junting's energy was extremely unstable, prompting her to wonder, has the goddess's blood fully awakened and entered the metamorphosis phase? Meanwhile, Sidu Shirbai continued to charge the sun and moon pearl, silently responding to the increasingly chaotic situation. Chin Junting paid no attention to the others. Her focus was entirely on the sun and moon pearl. She slowly approached and lightly touched the sun and moon pearl, murmuring, "Is this the thing that made you feel the danger? But why do I feel a strange sense of familiarity?" As soon as Chin Junting's hand touched the sun and moon pearl, it emitted a deep rumbling sound. To everyone's astonishment, the sun and moon pearl suddenly began to expand. The sun and moon pearl unleashed an incredibly terrifying energy wave, and the mutated beast horde below, to prevent Chin Junting from being disturbed, also joined the battle. Liao Xue immediately realized something was wrong and exclaimed, "What's happening? Why is there such a massive energy surge?" Even the normally composed Sidu Shirbai's expression changed abruptly, and he murmured, "Chin Junting is absorbing the energy of the sun and moon pearl. Chin Junting led the beast army into the battlefield and began absorbing the energy of the sun and moon pearl. In the chaos of the battlefield, Zhang Ping and Lu Sisan found themselves at a loss in the face of this sudden turn of events, doing their best just to protect themselves. After absorbing the energy, Chin Junting, now a fallen one, suddenly murmured, "It feels like I can sense my mother calling me, somewhere far beyond the city." Hearing this, Liao Xue secretly grew excited. Wonderful. The energy of the sun and moon pearl helped the Saintus complete her metamorphosis early. "Come on, little ones, follow me." Chin Junting suddenly flew out of the city, calling out to the beasts. Seeing this, Liao Xue showed a satisfied smile. The saint must have sensed the call from Holy Ancestor Village. This way, she'll return to the village on her own without us having to lift a finger. Liao Xue then used a voice transmission to speak to Yu Chenghai. To cover up the plan, I've hidden the saint in the city for over a decade. Now that the time is ripe, go and notify our people to escort the saint back. Her power will help me ascend to kingship. Liao Xue glanced at the city lord's mansion, pondering silently. Now that the foxes have lost Chin Junting's suppression, they must have awakened and probably sensed the commotion here at the monument square. This mess, enough to keep anyone busy. Liao Xue thought to herself, everything proceeding as planned. She decided to retreat swiftly before the king Yu appeared. Having made up her mind, Liao Xue turned and said, "It's ironic that your efforts to charge the sun and moon pearl actually helped me. Normally, making the saint fall and transform into the Holy Mother would require a complex ceremony in Holy Ancestor Village. Now, that's all been spared. This is my destiny." Just as Liao Xue turned to leave, Lu Sisan suddenly moved. She surged forward, conjuring an ice sword, and shouted, "Stop right there. I will kill you to avenge my master." As soon as she finished speaking, Lu Sisan blinked to Liao Xue's side, her ice spikes shooting out rapidly. Watching the incoming ice spikes, Liao Xue coolly responded, "Just you? Overestimating yourself, little girl." As soon as she finished speaking, Liao Xue raised her hand, and a wave of invisible force burst forth. Both the ice spikes and Lu Sisan's body were immediately immobilized in midair, followed by a loud crash, and a powerful recoil burst forth, sending Lu Sisan flying dozens of meters away. Seeing Lu Sisan being hurled away, Zhang Ping quickly used the Nether Mist to move to where she would land, using the brief hovering ability of the Nether Mist wings to catch her. However, Lu Sisan's mask was shattered by the impact, revealing the scars on her face. Despite the buffering of the Nether Mist, Zhang Ping felt his own internal energy roiling, a tight feeling in his chest. Liao Xue didn't look back as she departed, saying, "Until next time." Sidu Shirbai did nothing throughout, not even attempting to pursue. After Liao Xue left, he simply stated, "Let's deal with the crisis inside the city first." Manny, seeing Zhang Ping and Lu Sisan fall, quickly asked with concern, "Zhang Ping, Sisan, are you alright?" Zhang Ping, helping Lu Sisan to her feet, replied, "We're okay, just minor injuries." Lu Sisan, her face filled with frustration, said, "I'm still too weak." Just then, a terrifying beast roar suddenly erupted over Pearl City. Her face changing, exclaimed, "Weren't all the mutated beasts and zombies taken away by Chin Junting and Liao Xue? Where's that noise coming from?" Hearing this, Sidu Shirbai's face drastically changed. "It's the king of the natural order fox," he urgently said. "Manny, activate the teleportation array." Just then, the patrol squad suddenly rushed into the square. Seeing this, Manny exclaimed, "Is that the patrol squad?" However, these patrol squad members were disguised by the natural order fox. They completely surrounded Zhang Ping and the others. The leader, Link D, shouted, "Everyone drop your weapons, or else you will be killed without mercy." Link D sternly declared. However, Zhang Ping, who had previously synchronized information on the natural order fox within the Purge squad, had Manny decisively activate the teleportation circle. Zhang Ping quickly utilized the Nether Mist to warn, "All those charging at us are the natural order fox. Be careful of their invisible attacks." Sidu Shirbai suddenly spoke, "No need, I'll contain them." As he finished speaking, Sidu Shirbai flew up, activating the area attack skill Brainwave Resonance instantly. The natural order foxes below instantly felt intense headaches, stopping in their tracks and howling in pain. Sidu Shirbai, while maintaining his skill output, shouted loudly, "All team members, evacuate Pearl City." Seeing the hesitation and unwillingness to leave among the team members, Sidu Shirbai immediately shouted, "That's an order." Zhang Ping retracted the Nether Mist, puzzled. Why didn't Chin Junting take the natural order fox with her? Lu Sisan, her brow furrowed, analyzed, perhaps the king of the natural order fox initiated some sort of protection. At this point, Zhang Ping and the others wasted no time and quickly entered the teleportation array. Seeing this, Sidu Shirbai felt somewhat reassured. Facing the king of the natural order fox, staying behind would only lead to unnecessary casualties. Before long, all Purge squad members had evacuated through the teleportation array. Maintaining his skill, Sidu Shirbai coldly remarked, "Still not showing yourself? Let me see the strength of the so-called king of this fox den." As soon as he finished speaking, a massive figure suddenly appeared, sending chills down one's spine. In fact, the king you had been observing from the shadows for some time. However, as long as Chin Junting was present, it felt an unsettling sense of unease and dared not reveal itself. Then, the king Yu's raspy voice echoed, "You are the strongest human I have encountered." but if you wish to face me, your strength is still insufficient. Sensing this terrifying aura of a king, Situ Shirbai decisively used his identification skill but could only discern two abilities, cognitive distortion and reality reversal. The King didn't give Situ Shirbai time to fully comprehend its abilities and immediately reached out to grab him. Situ Shirbai, unafraid, retorted, "Whether I'm strong enough can only be proven through battle." Without hesitation, he unleashed his most powerful attack, Vacuum Meltdown. In an instant, countless lava missiles shot out, intending to melt the King's insides with extreme heat and then explode by creating a vacuum. However, despite the devastating force, it had no effect on the King. At this point, Situ Shirbai was utterly shocked. Could this be cognitive distortion? He quickly activated his illusion clones to dodge the attack, realizing that this wasn't the effect of cognitive distortion, as he had already blocked out sensory influences before the battle. He also ruled out the possibility of clones being the issue, as clones would disappear upon being hit, but his attack had no impact on the King. He couldn't understand why his attacks were ineffective. After all, even a mountain would be pierced through by Vacuum Meltdown. Seeing Situ Shirbai's futile struggle, the King sneered, "Don't think you can escape using clones. You think I can't catch you?" The King coldly laughed. As soon as it finished speaking, Situ Shirbai was immediately restrained by a powerful force, unable to move. Panic surged in his heart, and he suddenly realized, "I understand. This is its other ability, reality reversal. Unlike cognitive distortion, it doesn't affect my senses but instead overturns the very rules of reality. No normal physical rules apply to it." At that moment, the King grabbed Situ Shirbai with a fierce grip. With a crack, Situ Shirbai's body gradually went limp. The King, pleased, released its hold and let out a cold laugh. However, Situ Shirbai suddenly opened his eyes, a faint smile on his lips. "Unfortunately for you, your ability can only reverse the reality affecting yourself, but it doesn't apply to me." As soon as he finished speaking, an immense energy wave burst from Situ Shirbai's body, enveloping the King entirely. The King let out a growl of shock and disbelief. "What is this?" Situ Shirbai sneered in response. "This is a time barrier." The King instantly realized it was trapped within Situ Shirbai's time barrier, unable to move. Satisfied, Situ Shirbai let out a triumphant laugh. "Now, it's my turn."